by the fire gave the tale of 5 steadfast adventurers as they explore the mysterious isles of Tactful. Join us on the Swordcast Adventures.
Last time on Swordcast Adventures, we fight off ambushed by frogmen. Must be because something happened to me and I grow real big. I almost big as Grimtuck. I have his helmet on too, so they all scared of me. After we win, and I'm not big anymore, I get back in Grimtuck backpack so we can go. Later on, we talking about what to do next when we get attacked by trolls. They hit real hard. Grimtuck drink potion that make him breathe fire. I never see that before. Rest of us help burn them and we win against them too. Metolius ask animals for dry place to sleep. We make camp and Metolius make us dinner. Then I sleep real good after long day.
And thank you, Loud Scout. We now find the day anew, sun rising, and everyone except for our 2 elven companions asleep, resting as best they can. And yeah, you 2 are climbing down the tree of which you saw looked out upon that clearing with the black smoke and the odd chanting.
And how much time will it take us to travel there by our estimates?
It's a few miles off. It would take you about half the day to get there.
Metolius, I think we should probably head that direction. I don't know what is transpiring, but it's probably of interest to us.
I would agree. I must take a moment to prepare myself for the coming day. But
Yes, you should take your moment. I will rouse the rest.
sounds good.
A cool breeze blows through. A slight bit of fog and mist kind of hangs just above the ground, and you find as the fire is now nothing but embers and a bit of smoke. The 3 of your companions.
Okay. I'm just going to walk over and nudge the 3 of them with my foot.
Who first?
Loud Scout.
What?
Get up. There's work to be done.
You gets up.
Okay. Walk over to Rain and give her a little nudge with my foot.
I actually wake up with kind of a start. It's like and I sit up really quick.
Oh there, is everything alright?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay. Good.
Are we ready to go?
Yes, there's something Metolius and I should show you, but let me wake up Grimtuck first. I'm going to walk over and give him a little nudge with my foot as well. Grimtuck?
What?
Grimtuck?
What?
Good
What?
morning.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, there's something you should see or hear. Can you hear that?
I can't hear anything except for you. Hold on. Let me get up. Kind of dust myself off because Grimtuck was just sleeping on the fucking ground like an animal.
A little bit of, like a bit of dew kind of seems to slough off you as you're wiping the dust
Oh,
off.
I smell like a swamp. Alright, what are we looking at?
I would say the 3 of you should roll a perception check.
Oh, that's fucking awful.
7 for Rain.
6 for Grimtuck.
Makes sense given what you just said.
Yeah.
18 for Loud Scout.
How the fuck you see it better than me?
Scout
I
indeed.
got great eyes, but I'm looking in the wrong direction.
He's got scout.
This is not sight. This is actually hearing,
Oh,
and
fair enough.
neither the 2 of you, Rain, for reasons of you not sleeping very well and finding yourself a bit tired this morning, and Grimtuck, you just waking up and it never being that much of a morning person, especially out on the ground. Loudscout, you hear a deep thrumming drum beat, and you hear at the edges of what you can hear, you hear the sound of this low croaking chant.
Loud Scout kind of like squints his eyes and looks around trying to figure out what it is and looks at Elduin and says, "What that?"
Not entirely sure, but it is coming from the direction of the camp where we have been heading. I'm concerned that there is some ceremony occurring, which given their demeanor, it worries me.
Scout like nods in agreement.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all find yourself awake. Yesterday was rough, but you are all hardened, and though unpleasant, you break camp. Metolius, what are you doing? You said you were taking a moment.
Praying to Guayron and Maliki for guidance, and
Do you do this in any specific way? Maybe praying one to the east, one to the west.
I take a stick and I draw the symbol of Guayron.
Okay.
And I say a little prayer in Sylvan, and I just prepare myself with the holy powers I've been granted for the day.
Excellent. You hear that almost ethereal-like language and come from Metolius's lips as his back is turned to you. And his chant goes through, and you see his body almost relax after he finishes. And you see him kind of come back to consciousness, to this world. And yeah, you are ready to and ripping to go, sir.
Yep. I throw my shield over my shoulder, approach the rest of the party and say, well then, friends, are we ready to put this grisly business to rest, hopefully?
Yes.
Let's hope so.
That's
Scout shakes his head.
Whatever that chanting is, it can't be good.
So what's the plan? Do we just go kill it?
I think we should get a little closer and get a lay of the land.
Alright, let's pay attention to the direction of the wind this time. Last time was embarrassing.
yes, indeed. A touch of reconnaissance is prudent.
Who
Want me to
gets
take a look?
ambushed by trolls?
Can you see from here?
I'll
When we get close.
take a look.
Yes.
Let me try that one. Just point me in the right direction. I couldn't hear for some reason when I woke up. I think I'm good now. Where am I? Is there like smoke in the distance I can look towards? Or
At ground level, you can't. None of you can see this. You actually
Okay.
would have to climb up the tree like Elduin did.
Let's climb
which
it.
I don't think you knew that's what he did specifically because you were
Okay.
asleep. So
that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
point me in the right direction. Where am I looking?
We'll head back the direction that we were
North, I
originally
believe.
traveling.
yeah, you would be needing to look north to find
Okay.
this place.
We'll just press on. I have no doubts that you will be able to hear it shortly, unless they stop, of course.
But I mean, like I can see really far. Like, well, I guess not farther than your bird can fly. So,
True.
all right, let's take a look.
But yeah,
As the teak flies.
Yeah,
standard unit of measurement.
Yeah, it is.
I see about a mile. Is what I'm saying. But after that, it gets a little fuzzy.
Well, based on my recollection, I think it is further than that. But
Fair.
when we get closer, yes,
All right.
we shall have you use your vision.
We should be there about midday.
All right, let's do it.
Kick some dirt on the coals and head out.
Sweet. So yeah,
Rain, you look tired.
I'm fine.
I reach out and put my hand on her shoulder gently. I will use 5 points of lay on hands to cure her of a disease, just in case she's feeling unwell.
okay.
Does that do anything for me in this particular situation?
Let me double check. It
Cure exhaustion.
It does
Yeah.
not cure exhaustion.
No.
does not. No.
Okay.
You feel good for about the point his hand goes on you, and as that kind of the light flows into you and through you feel great. You feel back to normal for just a moment, and then the second it's gone, the second it kind of fades off, it just crushes back into you.
Okay. And I'm just at like level 1 exhaustion?
Yeah,
Okay.
level 1.
Double checking.
So, for right now, you are miles off. And I would say at this point you press on into the swamp, back off of this kind of little bluff you found, and back into the knee or thigh deep water, depending on your stature. And as it is early morning, you see that kind of mist that hangs above cool water during the early hours of the day sits there. And this actually, you see the top of Loud Scout's hood, but he is almost fully obscured. So at that point, I think You could walk forward, but it would definitely be a troubling thing to do so. Loud
Yeah.
Scout.
So,
Sounds like
assuming
it.
the mist is obscuring visibility a bit.
Only
Well,
for Loud Scout.
Only for
It's
Loud Scout because
shorter.
it's about
it's only.
it's about at like core height, like just above your waistline is where it's like kind of like petering off, and
Right, 'cause this is really early in the morning.
this
so-
is super early. This is like daybreak.
Okay.
This most likely will burn off because you didn't see this like last night.
Sure.
So-
I'm gonna send Teak up into the canopy just to like keep an eye out.
Sure.
Make sure we don't get surprised by anything.
Okay. So in that process, let's have you roll 3 perception checks as you continue to move forward in the day.
All at once, or
You can do it all at once if you want.
sure. Okay. 3 different colored D20s. Look at that.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Oh.
he have advantage on sight?
He does. That's correct.
Should be a tough one to keep track of.
Yeah.
Just do a 4th D20 and then pick out of that lot.
He has
For 2 rolls.
plus 3. Okay, so there's the first one is a 15.
Okay. So
Second one is a 19. And the third one is a natural 20.
okay. So over the course of T kind of taking off and flying around your heads, you keep him up there and you keep checking in with him just to make sure everything is as hunky-dory as being in the middle of a murder swamp could be. But it definitely seems to hold. He sees a few animals, large, maybe more amphibious life forms, not of the ones you've fought, but more so just naturally occurring, kind of scurry off as your splashes echo out. But nothing seems to jump out at you, or nothing seems to kind of pique his interest. In the course of, I would say by this point, you are hitting about near noon, and nothing's come up. You've seen a few more of those, like, statuesque edifices. You've seen by this point, Loud Scout, if you were in Grimtuck's bag during the first portion of this trip, you no longer need to, as the mist has cleared.
Oh, cool.
And you find yourself continuing through this kind of sparse-looking forest. And as this last hour kind of fades into the next, you once again hear that deep, throbbing drumbeat. Now, almost vibrating through the water and the ground, you can kind of feel it in your bodies. And as you are now much closer, the sound of that
Walk, walk. Walk, walk.
is heard. And it almost seems to echo from all directions, but it definitely seems to be coming from the north, ahead of you, in a distance. It's still far off, but there.
Can I perform a ritual while we're walking?
Yeah. Yes. What are you trying to do?
I would like to ritually cast comprehend languages.
I would say if nothing came up, no fights happened, and you took some time, you would have hung back a little bit, but yeah, I think so.
It figures like walking, but like perception. I'm not paying attention to anything else, obviously. But yeah, I'd like to do that.
How long does it last once you've cast it?
1 hour.
Okay. As you walk forward, you cast the spell.
Cool. Sounds
Let's
good.
just work it
All
like
right.
that.
Now
Yes.
that I've cast a spell, does the warp mean anything to me?
Oddly, it sounds exactly the same. It is just those words. Which is weird because you should be able to understand it if they are another word or 2 words combined or what have you. But it's not. It's just
Walk, walk. Walk, walk.
I'm gonna furrow my brow and look very troubled.
Who's
but for the next hour you do have. You do
Wait.
have.
when we're stopping for or around this time?
Sure.
Who has what's their life totals for everybody? Can I just have this real quick?
Oh,
We all
just
just woke up, so we're all.
No, I know.
Oh, the actual numbers?
Yeah, I just want to know who the 3 lowest people are.
I have 51.
I have 80.
45.
60. So it's Loud Scout and Ray. Oh, and I would be third, I think.
We're tied. We both have 60. I will cast Aid, and I will target Rain, Loud Scout, and myself.
Excellent. +5.
Yeah, your max hit point goes up by 5,
Okay.
and your current hit points also.
For 8 hours.
For 8
Yeah.
hours, non-concentration. So, I do that.
Okay.
And then does this sound like I could reach it within the next 10 minutes?
It sounds like more that it's probably within the next half an hour to an hour away. But it's not as though it's coming like right next to you. It's just on the air enough where you can all hear it now.
Okay. Then I will wait to do the other thing I want to do.
Okay.
Then
So
let Maliki's light aid you,
Boom.
aid us in this battle as I cast aid.
Hey, I was wondering how you did it. Cool. Okay, so you guys continue to move forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
We sure do.
Sure
do. One foot, walk the other.
Yeah.
You know, just walking.
Just walking through the swamp.
And then
Making our way
yeah.
down
Well, guys,
south.
it's one foot in front of the other,
out.
and soon you'll be walking across the floor. And then it's never mind.
Da-da-na-na-na-na.
So, as you push forward, you notice that now beneath your feet seems to be something more like instead of a kind of rocky bottom, it gets more that swamp mud. It's harder now to push through, and it almost seems that this odd sticky mud seems to have kind of been pushed out from somewhere in front of you as the form of the bottom of the swamp that you've been walking through is now slowly shifted to that kind of gross, the kind that you lose a boot in if you're not careful.
Like quick mud, kind of.
Kind of. It doesn't seem to go down too far. It's thick enough though to give you a
Sucking mud.
yeah.
Should we make for higher ground?
Yes, please.
What higher ground is there?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Perhaps we should look with our eye holes.
I've got 2 eyeballs in my eye holes. Thank you.
Don't eat that
Yeah.
guy's eye holes. He will seriously
Natural
kick your
point.
ass.
You notice kind of sparsely throughout that there are portions of this area that seem to be higher than this kind of sunken in little mud pits, if you want to put it like that. That the ground is uneven enough where you could find a route that would lead you not within.
Well, since I was a forest guide, I'm going to attempt to lead my
Roll that survival.
party members through this maze of
Sure.
mud and less wet mud.
I'll actually give you advantage on that.
Okay, thank you.
Various kinds of mud.
9.
You're able to gain enough grasp on the raising and lowering of this kind of oddly heighted ground, and you find a decent path. It's not great. There's still some of that kind of thick mud. Loud Scout has a little bit of trouble, but you're able to lead them around these odd pools that seem to have formed.
Do I see anything else with this perception check at all?
With the 20, you do see at a ways away, just at the kind of edge of your vision where it gets a little too fuzzy, you see that the fog hasn't fully dissipated ahead of you. Probably within about, I'd say, a quarter of a mile. You see the fog still sitting upon the water, but there seems to be something raised high above it, as though a wall of some kind or kind of a crest of something. But it's hard to tell from where you are.
So there wasn't fog and now there's fog again?
No, the fog is far ahead of you. The fog around you has well dissipated, but there seems to be fog about a quarter mile ahead of you, where these almost like rises or edges or bluffs seem to kind of come out of it.
How high does the fog sit off the ground?
It seems to sit about the same height
Same
as
height.
before, but for some reason in that area it has yet to fully dissipate.
I point in that direction and I say, look, friends, I think I see our destination.
I said it's a quarter mile.
Just about, yeah.
All right, let's make our way there.
Okay.
Sooner we're out of this swamp, the better.
So, what's the rough time frame to make it there?
I mean, a quarter mile wouldn't take you very long. Less than an hour now.
Okay, how about 10 minutes?
Sure.
Will it take 10 minutes?
It won't take 10 minutes, but within the next few
Alright,
moments.
we're 5 minutes out. I'm going to stop and cast the spell.
Boom.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. did you, now that you're closer, Grimtuck,
Definitely want to take a look.
Okay, do your look. You have that sight beyond sight.
I'm going with the cocked. It's okay because I'm taking the crappy one of 9.
It's cocked. Re-roll it, please.
It was going to 5. I'll take
Sure,
it.
but-
All right, fine. Okay, that one's better. I got a 16.
So, you can see just a ways farther than Metolius's eyes can. You see that from out of this still low-lying fog, these almost, I'd say cliffs, but they're still short for what you would expect. Cliffs rise out good maybe 50 feet above the water line and almost make this valley in between. You even see a rise coming out of the fog that seems to be angled enough where you could walk up it, and at the edge you see thatched roofs. Rudimentary, but high, almost as high as the edges of this kind of bluff.
I'll relay that information to the party.
What's on the bluff? Is it covered in trees? Is it open?
There are trees. There are open spots as well. On the right side, from kind of where he can see, it's mostly kind of just flat land. Nothing up there because again he can't see over it. But there are not many trees to the right. But to the left, there seems to be trees on either side, and then these odd thatched roofs of these raised kind of buildings sit just above the tree line. A few trees here and there, definitely sparser than what you have seen.
Let's move forward.
Okay.
Looks like guard towers.
Do we perceive any movement around the houses?
I would say you could do a perception check as well. If you wanted do a perception check.
Doing it. 18.
And then we lost another teak.
This was with my eyes.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is not what Teak says. You actually see a smaller form kind of walk past the edges. It's hard because it is still a little far out for you, but you do see movement in the guard tower.
Okay. And how about the sound? Can we hear that chanting still?
You can.
Is it pretty loud now?
It's getting much louder now, and it actually seems to be coming straight ahead of you from this odd, weird bluff, which it's hard to exactly tell the shape of anything of this, but it does seem to rise out from the swamp you're standing in.
Is it a chanting or is it just a cacophony of the... Like a bunch of people do it at the same time, or are they in unison?
It seems too rhythmic to be anything but a chant. It does seem that a lot of them are in unison.
Creepy.
Can I send Teak up high just to, see how large of a thing we've stumbled upon, but, to stay out of sight?
Sure. How far can he fly away from you and you still see through his eyes?
Well, I wasn't out, 100 feet or something like that.
Okay.
Not that far.
But did you want to just send him out and see what he saw after?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Long-term reconnaissance.
Yeah. Perfectly cool.
Yeah, I can look through his eyes at 100 feet, but he can just, look at things.
Okay. So send him out.
I'll send him out on his own.
And then that would be, I believe, a perception check. That would be...
For him. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is plus... That's cocked.
That was not cocked. Neither was that.
Alright, fine. Then 22.
So, Teak flies up through the trees, then out ahead of you to the north. The sound for him, and he'll relay this to you as he gets back, gets louder. The almost just throbbing drums echoing in this odd little, what looks like a crater in the middle of these raised just bluffs in the midst of the swamp. So,
Just FYI, he has intelligence too.
Sure. He doesn't... Okay, he sees a giant shape, which he can impart upon you,
Yeah.
in the shape of almost like a giant crescent. The center busted in, and there seems to be somewhat of a village at the very back. Movement here and there of small creatures, and then the sound of what seems to be a waterfall at the very far northeastern corner.
Okay. I will relay this information to everybody else, and I'll keep my voice down.
Okay. So, as Teak returns, he kind of passes along this.
Yeah. Well, I think it might be time for scouting or reconnaissance.
That can be done.
So
Go
you
take
say,
a look.
So you say this geographical place has a way to get up it on one side, or
There was a kind of a like a ramp portion that seemed to go from the ground floor up into this large crescent.
Yes.
interesting. Let us get within eyesight, and then maybe we can formulate a plan.
Agreed.
Okay. Move forward. Well, throw my hood up. Be quiet. Be
Word.
stealthy.
Then I would like you all to roll a stealth check, please.
I get disadvantage on this, right?
Yeah, you get disadvantage on ability checks.
Grimtuck hit to a 9. Shouldn't have mentioned how good I rolled last week.
That would be a dirty 20 with my disadvantage.
Good God.
Wow.
Wow.
All of the gods looking down.
19 for Elduin.
18 for Metolius.
Loud Scott got an 11.
9.
And Dirty 20, which, as the collective group, you seem to be just fine in the sense of stealthiness. So you move forward. I would say the three who got much higher seem to help Loud Scout and Grimtuck along to kind of stop one from stepping on a branch that would break and make a loud noise, stop the other from falling, catching them before they splash into the water, which allows you to continue at the moment unabated. And you do get closer. You sit at just the edge of the tree line before the opening of this kind of clearing, which seems now almost not cleared intentionally. It seems that the trees don't grow around the edge of this now giant raised crescent that you can see much closer. It seems to rise one side, kind of almost a ramp naturally formed up into for the left side, rising up and going around the edge, while the right side seems to end at the kind of a cliff, and the center broken in, as though something pushed this all out from the center, like a crater. And as you get closer, you do hear that waterfall Teak had noted to the far northeast. The sound kind of deadening the chanting just a little. But still, the chanting grows loud. And then you hear a splash from ahead of you. And a second later, the mist is gone, and a pool sits almost perfectly still. And at the very end, other side of this kind of open space, you see about 5 forms standing at the edge. One a little taller than the others. And they turn and walk out to where you can no longer see them. But now this crater is shown and holds almost a basin-like pool of water in the center.
Like something heavy landed in it?
Doesn't seem like it. The splash was small. It's like if Loud Scout hit the water.
I'm gonna test this.
Wait, were you talking about the crater or the sound?
The crater.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
I was talking about the crater as if
Does it
something
seem
heavy.
like something
Yeah.
the crater was caused by something?
Oh,
heavy
sorry.
landing?
That's not. I mean, yes. If one can parse from earth being or like ground being moved, yes,
Okay.
it looks as though something literally hit and then pushed this out.
Okay, not that it was like dug out over time.
No, this
but-
almost
okay.
seems like pushed out from the living ground and stone
Gotcha.
itself. What you do notice is that the water and swamp line seems to kind of grow back over just at the edges, just around, as though the swamp is trying to reclaim this area, as the heft of the stone cannot be supported wholly by the soft ground underneath.
Were the forms we saw like humanoid?
They seemed humanoid by all
Okay.
rights.
Do they have the same features as the frogmen as far as like gait, like way they walk or way they move? Is there a way to tell?
I would say the general way you saw them, yes, they have a very similar gait, but I would say they moved with much more precision as they were on land and not trying to push through the deep water.
All right. Well, I say we move forward.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you stand at the tree line. You are hidden within it. Past the tree line, there is nothing. What there is that kind of natural ramp up with a few sparse trees. And then behind those trees sits those two what seems to be towers with thatched roofs. To the right, there is that cliffside with no trees, but you could... And again, it's a giant crescent shape. Actually, now that you've gotten close enough to see it, I can pass the wonderful map around.
Sweet.
So you are at the most southernmost center point where those trees are at the very bottom. I'm not going to... I will mark it on the map for the website. I will not mark it on the wonderfully printed map we have in hand.
Yeah, look at you, color printing and everything.
Totally wasn't me.
Can I keep my eye out for anywhere that I might be able to get up with my slippers to do any kind of reconnaissance without using the natural ramp that it seems like
Totally.
is meant to
I
be
would say
used?
once you look at this, you will see that the edge seems to sit as a perfect place for you to use your slippers upon.
Okay.
You would have to choose where, but
Right.
there is definitely, even just from the side you're looking at, which is the ramp and then just the cliff side and then the opening in the center, if it continues all the way around, which it seems to,
Right.
there would be high walls on all sides. You don't know how well they're fortified or how well they're guarded, but they seem like they would work.
Okay.
So there's us down here? Okay. Like this little patch?
Yes.
Cool, cool.
And for viewers' sake, as we're explaining this, they are on the southernmost point of this map, which we will be putting up, which they stand in front of the kind of runoff from the very center pool of this crater. There seems to be somewhat of a worn walk, which is the leading up ramp, and then on the other side, there seems to be more kind of broken off waterways to the right side, which is almost sheer cliff.
The sound of the waterfall comes from
Northeast.
further.
So yeah, a little far out of the way to see if you're looking straight ahead at the actual crater itself. But it doesn't seem to be coming from inside or the crater itself.
I think we should make our way to try to stealth on those guard towers and take out any type of sentries they might have. If we're going to get anywhere on here, those guard towers look like they can see the area around pretty well. If we scale that wall, they'll probably see us. I would, if I was in those guard towers.
Does it look like is there any route to get close to the guard towers without being seen?
You could probably make your way to the left side a ways around. There's a few like odd hills and things that kind of dot the lands. You could, with the right course, you could definitely make your way to behind or next to the guard towers.
They're likely not looking into the trees. I imagine whatever they're looking at is right in the middle. Or at least watching out for. Or that road.
I think they're watching the path. What if we just circumvent the path? Go right.
Fair. Depends on that's us making a guess on what they're actually looking at.
My thought was that we could ignore the guard towers and go to the northeast and perhaps scale the cliff.
But our entire point of being here is to kill frogmen. If I were a frogman, I would be in that tower.
Well, I think they are in the tower, but if we can strike at the heart of their village before some of their more martially trained forces can muster, then perhaps we can get the upper hand.
I think depends on what our goal is. If our goal is just to kill them all, then we take out their eyes first. Once they're blind, we can do whatever we need to them. If our goal here is to murder every single one of them, perhaps there's a power base. Perhaps there's not. Perhaps they're all just a bunch of frogmen living in the same place.
Worth pointing out that if our goal here is merely to massacre them, that putting Loud Scout and myself up in the tower is a good strategic plan.
I agree.
Bob Scout shakes his head.
What's the approximate range from the tower to the village, I wonder? Can we see that?
Yeah, a couple 100 feet at most.
Or if we're trying to cause discord,
Yep.
Those towers are fairly high. One of them on fire would bring all of them running.
I am open to this. We can funnel them down into these towers.
Mm-hmm. And then from there we can make our way wherever we need to go.
From those towers, you could shoot into that village area.
So 600 hectares.
If that sounds like what people want to,
We could staff one with these two and burn the other.
should we try to stealthily take out the guards? The guards?
I think
Yeah,
Rain
I can
the
do.
boots.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, does it look like there's, by the size of these things, there's only probably like one guard in these towers, or like
Well,
many?
the problem is the frogmen you fought are definitely smaller than a normal human, like smaller than even just a little bit smaller
Okay,
than
gotcha.
you.
Yeah.
So even if they were smaller, they may be able to fit multiple in, and Eldoin only was able to get hint like one walking around,
Right.
but you do not know if there's more yet.
Okay.
I think Rain scales it. Eldwin takes out any that we can see. And then from there, once an arrow flies in and takes one down, Rain cleans it up.
You were one-shotting them before, is that correct? Or not?
Yeah, you were dropping them like
I was
sacks of
dropping,
potatoes.
was it one shot or two shots per?
Yeah,
I
doesn't matter.
feel
Yeah.
like it was one.
I mean, if I can get up one of these towers before we're seen or heard, like, I can probably quietly take care of anybody in there.
And we could, if there's two, you could go for one and I could shoot another.
Yeah.
Perhaps if we watch for a bit, there is a pattern.
Also true.
Just Metal Gear Solid this.
Just snipe one, and then find where the spawn point is, and then just avoid the spawn point.
And get a cardboard box.
Yeah.
And make sure to double back on your
Minorly
tracks.
a cardboard box.
That's the thing.
Please. Okay, so what are you guys doing? There are many things talked about.
I am not apt at range, so I will.
Okay.
I will
How-
support whatever course you see fit.
How far are the towers from here?
From here, there again, this a little less, another like 150, 200 feet from where you're.
Okay, but
maybe
there's water in between us and them.
There's water in between you, and then a stretch of land.
Okay.
And if you wanted to circle around the towers, you'd either try to go into the crater through the water,
I'd rather go around, but I don't know
Or-
how long that would take.
or you go around, and then there's another bit of water to get across to get up.
Okay.
It's like a moat almost, yeah.
On kind of both sides, minus
Does
the actual
it-
walking path.
How deep?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how deep does it seem?
I mean, it's no more than knee or shin height for you.
Okay.
But that's still like
gotcha.
water that makes noise.
Right.
And so you will have to, there will be a bit of doing to get across.
Okay.
Rain, do you want to be the vanguard with me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Stealth mode active.
Yeah, stealth.
No better time than the
Hood
present.
Hood up, stealthing.
Okay. Do it, guys. Stealth.
If they are seen.
And that's a disadvantage, baby.
With the disadvantage, 13.
Okay.
Oh, that's not terrible.
That would be
Disadvantage.
24 and a natural 20.
Okay.
Metolius turns to the last scout as they make off and says, "If they are seen, do you have a plan?"
I can go in and help.
Start that fire.
I can do.
I'll back you up.
Okay.
I can run distraction for the two of you to get to there.
I don't need distraction.
That's fair. I just mean, from arrows. But, alright, you got this.
Cool. Everyone got the plan? You're just going to pick up the leftovers when it's happening?
I play it by
Kentucky.
ear, mostly.
Sounds good.
I'll
You
just
two are
see what
running-
happens.
I think Metolius will back up Loud Scout, but Grimtuck and Metolius probably.
I'm the wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone needs one. You're the one that cuts bricks on the van you're in.
Yeah.
Word. Okay, so you two stealth forward. You kind of find your way through the water, and you're able to take your time with it, leaving no real sound of your travels through it, nor much of a ripple in the water itself. You make it to the edge. You take a moment, and as you do, you see one of the frogs in the leftmost guard tower kind of do a quick sweep of the area, and you
Okay.
hide behind the tree. You stay there, and he looks around. You see him you see his neck kind of bulge as a moment, and he continues his motions, and he moves away. And you continue forward across the path, leading behind another small patch of trees. Walking towards that, you find yourself crossing only one more small stint of water, and with a bit of luck, you seem to have made it to just behind the towers without being seen.
Behind the towers. Okay, so we're up on the rise.
No, no.
Oh, okay. We're down at the
You are
below
effectively...
the cliff on the western
I
side.
have a map, I can show people this. You are there. Right there.
Perfect.
Let me see.
You are right there.
So when they took off,
On that side, on the opposite side of the water?
Right here. Yes.
Okay.
The western side of the towers.
Yes.
Okay.
when they took off, Loud Scout wants to find like a point where you can try and see them as much as possible while they're doing their thing if it's possible.
Okay. You guys are on the same level. They'll kind of blink out for a second behind that patch of trees they hid behind, but then once they get out there and to the west side of the towers, you can see them again.
Okay, cool. And he's
Excuse
gonna pull out his flask and have a drink
Okay.
while he watches.
Can we identify?
Of the new.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A little bit of residue sits upon your lips, and you see a slight iridescent glow as you kind of wipe off your hand and notice that it's on there.
Metolius says a quick word and casts a magic weapon
Boom.
on his sword.
Okay. So, you three prepare as you stand waiting for their actions. Loud Scout taking a drink, Metolius lighting his weapon up. Grimtuck, are you doing anything in particular?
Ready my axe.
Readying it. It is in hand. What are you two doing as you stand on the west side of the bank, just below the guard tower?
Well,
and on the other side of the water.
I whisper to you, can you shoot from here? Like,
Can I? How? What's the range, and can I see them? Do I have a good shot?
Roll a perception check. The range is, if you're shooting for the guard towers, the range is fine. Is well within your range. It's if you see them or not.
It's a natural one.
At this moment, you don't see them. They were not. They have continued their kind of basic patrol within the tower and are now out of your vision.
I could hit them, but they do have some manner of cover from me as they are up high.
okay,
What do you propose?
that I walk up this cliff face. Pretty
Fair
much.
enough. Does it look like someone without fancy slippers could scale it?
It's not a sheer cliff. It would be climbable with some doing. It's definitely not like steps, but it's climbable.
Okay. I could pretend to try to climb up with you and maybe knife one in the back with you.
It's true.
I imagine you're a bit better at it than I am, but
I mean, basically, my goal is to get into one of those towers and take out at least a couple of them without any of the others hearing. So,
are you confident in your abilities to do that?
yes, absolutely.
Would you prefer me to be up there with you, or would you prefer me to be down here with my bow?
I think I'd prefer you to be down here with your bow.
Fair enough. I will do that.
Alright.
I'm gonna draw my bow and keep a keen eye out.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to walk up this cliff face and as quietly as possible and then eventually up into one of the towers.
Sure. I will say, Metolius and Grimtuck, you are still, and Loud Scout effectively, who is standing a little ahead of the two of you to make sure you can see your companions who are farther away. Are you two still in that patch of trees waiting?
I think we would move. Is there cover to the left where they kind of like went to go
You would,
around?
again, the main thing you would have to do is get through the water and behind cover. But yes, there would be.
Should we move? Be closer?
It seems like a good idea. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to run through this.
Loud Scout shakes his head.
Okay.
All right.
And I would like one more, if you're moving, I'd like one more stealth
Yep.
check, please.
I cannot roll tonight. 6. Sorry.
Loud Scout got a 7.
Shit.
This is why you're not sneaking ahead.
Yep.
Well, I got a 21.
I don't think that's gonna round us out, homie.
Can I snatch up Loud Scout before he makes the sound?
Yes, I think you could. If you've done it in the past, you can do the same. You see Ladska kind of like lose his footing once again in that kind of thick muck, and you see him trip, and you grab him right by the gruff on the neck of his like tunic and cloak. Yes, and he's of all of his flowy things, and you grab him and you catch him, and he hangs now, almost Mission Impossible style, right above the water. A slight drip of sweat hits it, and you see it ripple, just slightly, but makes no noise, which coincides that covers your bases.
As Metolius pulls me back up, I take another drink out of my flask, and as I go to wipe off the glow, I cast non-detection on myself.
Right. Okay.
Once we get across the water, I set it down.
Okay, sounds good. You find if you want to go to that, there's a smaller patch of trees just at the edge, or you can go to that larger patch that they hid in behind, which is a little way.
Whatever gets us closer to the front, to the ramp.
Okay, I would say the smaller patch that's just after you get past the water.
Okay.
So yeah,
down
you are
there and wait for
sure
something to happen.
I almost say Charlie's Angels ask, like the three of you just like
Yeah.
what does happen actually, and what both Grimtuck and Metolius see is to the right side, and actually could have led to you guys being spotted. On the top of the bluff, there seems to be a patrol walking
On the right side.
on the right side, on the cliff side. There seems to be a patrol walking, and they seem to take moments to actually go to the very far edge and stare out across the swamp to see they've seen, and they seem to turn and start walking closer to just the general direction you were just standing in. But for a moment, they stop, and then as they stop and stay, you hear this odd, low rumble, and then you hear what almost sounds like a growl emanate from somewhere muffled and deep. And then you hear the sound of cracking stone, and you see the three of them almost fall back onto their butts and start to rush back the way they came.
Did the noise come from back where we came from in the swamp?
It seemed to come from almost, I could only imagine, under their feet.
Ugh. I don't like that.
But this noise also seemed to then in turn save you from being spotted.
Cool.
Yay?
That is something that we may yet fix.
Rain.
Yeah, I'm gonna start slowly, quietly, using my slippers, walking up this cliff face.
You know the deal.
Stealth.
Yes, please. At disadvantage.
I won't perceive real hard.
Pursue real hard and do it.
15.
Okay.
I don't have advantage, I just have proficiency. 19.
So you see Rain walk up the side. You actually notice that the guard at the far end, basically the right tower out of the two, seems to be making a patrol, but as Rain just about crests the top, he continues around and looks to the backside.
I would like to, if I can, sort of notch an arrow and hold action for anyone spotting me.
Word. That's perfectly fine.
Excellent.
And yeah, so you are now standing. You find yourself on top of this kind of short bluff, this rise. Standing right behind this tower, there is a rickety-looking ladder to the back of each of these, now that you can see the other one as well. And you see the movement of just one bullywug from the other tower, which I would say you could guess that means that this is of a similar ilk, as there is just one guard, and this is, well.
Okay, how close is the closest other guard tower to the one on next to you?
40 feet across, away
Okay.
from it.
Alright,
Maybe a little farther.
so I guess when I'm climbing the tower, I'd want to be climbing up on the opposite side of the other guard tower, so they have the littlest amount of visibility to me.
Okay, so yeah, you find that there are these almost like large trunks of carved trees used as these kind of pillars to hold this tower in place. Wide enough to use your slippers.
Excellent. Good.
But in turn, it's no longer this like kind of flat, straight walk up. Instead, it's more of a kind of a crawl, almost on all fours at a slight angle.
Okay.
Especially to keep yourself nice and quiet. So I would like one more stealth check.
You got
as
it.
you crawl up the side of the tower.
Fuck.
Say it.
That one. The only thing I can't roll, because even if I got a 2, it'd be 11. But
So this is how it goes. Rain gets to the very top.
I swear to God, I'm gonna actually assassinate something at some point, guys. I fucking swear.
Gets to the top of the tower, and you reach up to start. You kind of peek your head over, and you see the thing with its back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you reach up to grab onto the edge, but the edge is worn and rotten, and you try to pull yourself up, but you remove pieces, and it makes this odd clatter. Not very loud, but loud enough for the guard in front of you to hear, and he turns and rushes over to the edge. Elduin, you see in front of Rain stands this frogman. Please make your attack.
I would love to. Yeah. Alright. That is a dirty 20.
That hits.
Cool. I am going to... He's... How close to Rain is he? Is he like
He's
basically on top of her?
Basically.
Okay. I am going to use... Where the hell is it?
He's standing in that spot where the program is programmed where you can climb up.
Yeah, you can pull them off. Press X to pull them off the ledge.
Yeah.
I am going to fire... I'm going to use my magic to turn the arrow into a grasping arrow.
Okay.
So he's going to take... Well, actually, that might even not be good. He's going to take 2d6 poison damage. Its speed is reduced. And it takes slashing damage first time it moves at all. But first I'm going to roll my attack. Which is for 9 magic damage.
Okay.
And then he's going to take... Did I say 2d6?
Yes, you
This
did.
arrow before. 3 poison damage.
Okay.
You got a 1 and a 2 on your poison damage?
Yeah.
That's rough.
So 12 altogether.
12 altogether.
And what happens? Does it like wrap out with like
Yeah, he gets surrounded by brambles basically.
word? So Rain, you feel your hand slip. You pull down this patch of just like sod and make this noise. You see this odd frog creature that you fought before kind of stand above you. Eyes go wide. Throat kind of expands to start to make noise against you, and you see an arrow catch right in that sack. And you see it deflate for just a moment as he kind of... And as it does, brambles and barbs just erupt out and wrap around this creature, and you see as it closes in on him, you see it as the creature falls dead in front of him.
Excellent.
Sweet. Good job. Jordan.
Can I, like, after, like, getting my footing back, can I kind of, like, try to look up and over into that tower through to the other one and see if the guard in the next tower saw or heard any of that?
You can roll a perception check.
I'm gonna, as soon as I can, I want to hold my action for the next time that
17.
situation happens.
Did we
17?
see this?
I believe so. I would say you guys are keeping an eye on Rain, and you saw Rain slip up, and then Elduin just take care of the situation.
I just lean over to Grimtuck and in Orcish I say, you have to admit he's a pretty good shot.
Quizzically, did you speak Orcish at all when we
Nah,
fought the other
I think
half-orcs?
Yeah.
Grimtuck is like, indeed, and Orc is like, hey, wait. What? Also in Orcish, like, opens his mouth, closes it, just shakes his head. This is the time.
You look over and you see that the creature's back is to you. It did not hear.
Okay, then I'm gonna try to, like, climb into the tower
Sure.
and take a shot at the one in the next tower.
Okay, do that. You climb into the tower. The creature begins to take the turn where he would be staring at you, but is not yet. You take your shot.
Okay. And An advantage for assassinate, by the way.
You get to assassinate?
Yep. Dirty 20.
That hits.
Yeah.
So, since he is surprised, I get an automatic crit on that.
Right.
So, I'm rolling what? 2 damage die.
It had to happen
And
eventually.
double your sneak attack.
Yep.
I mean, this guy's gonna
He's gonna die.
Explode.
pig mist on out of here.
You could dare say that he's going to croak?
Oh!
I love
I haven't correctly hit myself.
46. That was that part.
it. We're missing all these high numbers that Rain's talking.
Let's see, 18, 19, 23, 28, 31, and then do I also get to roll my sneak attack a second time? Does that double too?
Yeah,
Or
your
just-
sneak attack.
Wait, what? Damn.
Yeah, so yeah.
You roll everything twice and
Yeah.
you add once.
I said 31, right? So 41, 30, yeah, 41, 47, 49 damage.
Plus your modifier, or did you already add that?
Already added that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the creature is... You catch him square in the eye as he turns to look at you, and long before the synapses fire for his brain to even understand what he's seeing, he is dead, cold, on the floor. You have officially assassinated that creature.
How far is the next guard tower?
There is not... the next guard tower is well out of your range inside the village. it
Okay.
seems.
Got it.
There's
well,
only 2 on either side of this path, and you have cleared it. Though, standing there, I would like you to roll... Actually, no, you can see that there seems to be patrols around the edge of this. They're out of reach at the moment, depending on your range of your firing, but they do seem to be 3 guard-like figures kind of patrolling the ring of this crater.
But like on the other side from
At
where
the
the guard
moment.
towers are at the moment. Okay.
Grimtuck is going to just kind of wave to signal to Rain if he can. So you try and get her attention.
I look over if I see him, I guess.
Just gonna do a motion with his hand axe towards his own wrist. Just remember, hands. And then a thumbs up.
And I will pull out a dagger and I will make sure I take some hands.
Okay. At this point, you start to hear that same chanting, now so very loud, almost coming from somewhere deep within the village itself. And then the drum beats echoing again, kind of moving through. You almost see the water around you kind of ripple with each drum beat. But it continues, and it almost seems to... No one seems to come out. But this seems to be somewhat of a ritual of some kind. It seems to be happening within one of the buildings in this village. Multiple voices, multiple drums. And comprehend language is still up, correct?
It was less than an hour.
Elwyn, you hear, at the very edge of your hearing, you hear the low, almost monotone voice break through the chanting, and you hear,
For us, he stays. With us, we are strong. Wog wog,
and then you hear responding,
wog wog, wog wog.
Was that for Roz?
yes, for Raz. No, for us.
For us.
For us.
Okay. Does it... I guess I will... If it looks all clear on the tower, I will start moving up. Climbing up to it.
Once Loud Scout sees that Rain's alright and Elduin's fine, I'm gonna look back once the drum starts and I'm gonna motion to we should go.
Yes, we should. Come
Yeah,
on,
I'm
Grim
gonna turn around and take one final swig out of my
Excuse me.
flask and put it back.
Okay. So you guys begin to move your way up the rise, correct?
Up the third path.
Yeah.
Yeah, towards the guard tower, towards Rain. Yeah.
And she is the guard tower closest to where Elduin is standing too, so Elduin, you would like to climb.
Yeah, I would climb up.
Sure,
To join Rain.
Athletic check, please. I'm mean, you think you're fine.
Oh, I didn't even look at the roll. Yeah, I got a natural 20 and I'm trying to find my modifier.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna stay up in the guard tower for now, but like hunker down as much as possible so that any of the guard making patrols like looks up at the guard tower. Hopefully they don't see me.
Okay.
I guess technically hide, but also keep an eye to make sure, kind of keep an eye on them, make sure where they are and that they're not getting too close.
Okay.
And make sure I don't see any other movement.
Okay. Cool.
Is there any cover up this ramp?
Sparse trees, but they've definitely cleared out a lot of the area, seemingly. There's probably about 2 to 3 trees behind the far guard tower. That's the one that Rain shot into.
Yeah.
The eastern side. The western side, there's a small patch of those same kind of like dead and kind of spindly trees you've been walking through, which gave a bit of cover, but not very much.
All
So
right.
about 20, 30 feet past the east guard tower, you're open.
As we make our way across, I say there's not a lot of room to hide.
No, but we can still burn one of the towers to draw them out if we'd like. But we don't know exactly what we're drawing out.
That's true.
I can go look.
We could make a...
Probably hold off on that. Let's formulate a plan first.
That's how size like.
Let us draw them out and we can ambush them.
I like that plan.
Okay.
Are we all back together in one?
I mean, I
We
think,
can
yeah,
be.
you guys started running up.
Once
Only-
everyone else was there, I would probably
Okay.
come down from the tower.
So, we're thinking, you guys in that tower, we burn that tower, and then they come out and we kill everybody.
Not a bad plan.
And should we set some trap or something if we have a moment?
I mean, I have some caltrops, but they only cover about a 10-foot
Yeah.
square.
What?
The ball bearings likely wouldn't work out here. It's not hard enough surface. The caltrops might even be iffy.
Elduin, as you kind of think about this,
Wait, they're barefoot. They'd work.
as you kind of think about this plan, you all are discussing the logistics. In your mind, all you're thinking is, I don't understand why anyone is worrying. It's just going to take me a shot a person. I obviously have all the skills that are necessary right now. Oh, but it'll be so good if one falls just like that last one.
I've got there's like a small smile on my face as you guys are talking. Like a little bit of like a, just a little,
That's eerie. Someone's getting a
Well
taste for
then.
this. Alright. I like it.
If we have perhaps Loud Scout and Eldwin in the tower, and what are the rest of us going to do?
I'll be on the ground.
That's a lie.
Rain, where do you prefer?
Tree
Line, maybe?
Probably, yeah.
Will you be in range?
How far is the tree line?
I mean, the tree line on the east side ends about 30 feet past the guard tower. And then on the west side, there are, again, those dead trees, which you yourself could probably hide behind.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're kind of a fair individual.
Yeah,
But it'd be hard to kind of stealth through the entire thing.
right.
You're definitely, again, keeping within cover, you're going to be a little ways out of range.
Okay,
Until they get closer, which they could.
right.
Grimtuck and I can hold the line, and you can strike when the opportunity
Yeah,
seems good.
I think that's not a bad idea. So if you guys want to give me a second before we light anything on fire to...
Why don't we just wait for guard and then take them out and go look? We don't know what inside.
Okay. I'm also into this.
Yeah, I'm not against that at all.
Then let us wait.
Alright,
And
just
we will
wait it out for this guard
ambush.
shot. And I can also try to hide in the tree line too and surprise them as they're going by, if you guys want to strike after that.
So there are two effective places or 3 effective places. There are 2 patches of trees in front of the guard towers, which obscure them from where you guys came from, so you could hide there. There is that small patch behind the east guard tower, or of course there's the dead brush on the west side.
What would they pass first on their current path? The dead trees?
The best position you would be in would be behind the eastern guard tower, the small patch.
I'll do that then.
Okay.
And I'll watch for them. If you guys want to just hide a little further up and listen for something to happen.
Alright.
So are you going
Try
closer
and
to
be
the village,
as
or
quiet
wait?
as possible.
So, Rain, yours would be closer to the village. Do you want them to hide back or forward?
Whatever they're more comfortable with, I guess. Just to hide until you want to come out. When you hear
So I know where
me, take one of
everyone
them down.
Let us hide, and we can use what range attacks we have to quickly eliminate them.
Okay.
I have javelins. I believe Grimtuck does as well.
I do.
Back or forward?
Back.
Okay. So behind the guard towers?
Yes.
Okay.
On the
East or west
the
side?
inner side of the crater.
Got it. Cool. Which there are trees. Excellent. So yeah, you guys hide behind the eastern guard tower as Rain hides in front of that same tower. As you wait, Rain, you notice that the guards are starting to kind of crest around this edge and head towards you.
Okay.
I'll put on my helmet.
Okay.
The scary helmet.
Okay. I would like you all to roll stealth.
Alright.
And Grimtuck, you have a disadvantage.
I have a disadvantage?
Your helmet eyes glow red.
Oh shit! My first decent roll. Let's see if I can get another one.
What'd you get, Rain?
22 with my disadvantage.
Okay.
Actually, I got an 18 with disadvantage.
Not bad. Everyone else?
16.
Oh, got it.
Thanks.
11.
Loud Scott got a 9.
Okay.
I did not know that about my scary helmet.
Well,
You learn something new every day.
guys,
Who thought the red eyes would work against
I mean-
me? It's fair.
they don't really work for you either.
No, they don't do much. Image is important here.
It is. You all hide back into the trees, waiting for Rain to strike. And Rain, you sit a shadow among this sparse little patch.
Okay.
As they get about, I'd say, 30 feet away from you.
Yeah, I was going to
You
say, once
see
they're
the
within
3
30
of them
feet.
holding rudimentary weapons, just as they did before. They hold spears
Okay.
in hand, almost sack-like clothing. Just similar to the creatures you saw in the swamp.
Does any one of them look more important than the others?
You see one that has almost like markings of like white ash
Okay.
kind of drawn on them. It seems to kind of lead the 3.
I would, once they were within 30 feet, take a shot at that one.
Okay.
If they're 30 feet of her, how far away are the rest of us?
If they're 30 feet from her, from the rest of you guys, they'd be about 60, maybe 65 feet from where you are.
Okay.
I've got my bow
I mean, yeah.
out and drawn.
Your main ranged person is fine. What about your javelins? How-
So I'm just double checking.
No worries.
Commence the rolling of the attack.
Alright.
With advantage.
Yeah, with advantage.
Are you gonna let Rain
Three
shoot
of them?
first?
That is a good thing for her assassinate. Yeah.
Yes.
Then go for it.
Okay.
And so I was like, wait. I
Nat
understand.
20, which doesn't really matter because it's already
Sure.
a crit,
I'll throw
but
a
I'll take it.
javelin.
Okay. So let's see. So
15 for me.
So let's see
15.
here. I need 2 of these.
Yeah, range is 30 to 120 for a javelin.
26.
okay.
All right. If we're all chucking javelins, let's do it.
Great. Okay. That's a lot of dice.
Oh my god.
Well,
I will aim for a move. The not the head
Sure.
guy.
Let's
that
go. Are
would
you gonna do
be
anything?
15.
Okay.
Yeah, Loud Scout's gonna throw a Chaos Bolt. I guess the one in the middle.
Okay. Let Rain fire first,
Yeah.
just because this may just.
Yeah.
And then the rest of you, let's go. Would you like to? Well, you're shooting for their. So wait till Rain's done. But the other 3 of you can roll damage. So there's one on the right, one on the left. Right or left?
Right.
Right or left?
Am I doing my left? Am I doing my strength mod on that for the damage? Okay,
Plus
that's not so.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And right or left? Grim Tech.
Left.
Okay. Roll damage for your 3 shots.
7 for me.
13.
5.
Okay. Right.
With my assassinate ability, that total would be 48 piercing damage.
Oh yeah. So he's dead.
He's toast.
Oh, you rolled it, so it's cocked. I see. Okay.
And
It was like
5 and you got
7.
okay. So that and then you got 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Rain fires the creature with the bullywug with the white ash, seemingly the captain of this guard or what have you, falls quickly and flatly, almost is standing and then is not. The 3 of you then in turn throw large javelins and fire off arrows, and in the chaos the 2 others kind of make one croak apiece and fall.
They're all just dead?
They are all just dead.
Red.
Hell yeah.
Like a loud croak, or like a soft croak, or like...
As the 2...
Because we're hidden, presumably?
You are hidden, presumably. At the moment, they just made a quick sound in surprise
Okay.
and had no time to do anything but die.
Alright.
Because you guys are exceptionally proficient in killing frogmen.
It's almost like they killed themselves.
Get that merit badge.
You
Yes.
def
So-
get the frog...
I kind of step out of the shadows and like look back to where they
Ideas.
are, and I go, Grimtuck, hands.
Just hold up my axe. Ha!
And I'll go up the other guard tower that I hadn't gone up yet and get the hands off of that one too.
Okay,
I'm gonna see if I can get my arrow back.
that's the thing.
So,
Cool.
someone wants to go out and get those hands?
Let's leave the hands for now.
Oh,
We'll come back. Let's just be done with the job.
the job's to get hands, but... Alright.
The job's to get
Also, hostages to save.
No, they... Troll ate them.
There may be
Rain
more.
did not laugh at that comment. She slapped at that comment, by the way, just to clarify.
I have not found the ruby necklace that I was told about.
I forgot all about the necklace. I got...
One of the children has.
Okay.
I will not rest until I find it.
Well, fair.
Let us be on our way.
Alright. Just remember those
Moscow,
hands
why
are right
don't
there.
you go scout?
How far off does the rest of the building seem? At least the one where the chanting's coming from?
The one where the chanting's coming from seems to be the very centralized building, the one that the black smoke seems to be coming
How
out
far
of.
off?
It, from where you are standing, if it was 65 feet to the creatures that just got all slaughtered, then you're easily about just under 200 feet from there.
And the 3 guards were the only light we've seen, right? So
There's
far?
you've seen 5 guards so far,
Yeah.
2 in the towers and 3
Well, yeah,
patrolling.
Yeah, the 3 we
Killed
just
them all.
killed. And
And you have killed them all.
Alright, so Loud Scout like looks at Betolius and shakes his head, and I go to head towards the buildings.
We need to be quick before they notice the troll is gone.
I'll be back real soon.
Do you think they hung out with the troll?
No.
Patrol.
Oh, paw troll. I thought you said a troll.
No.
Sorry.
Okay, so Loudscout, you're going ahead.
I legit thought you said a troll.
What are you going to do? Just stealth ahead and check out what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay. So, move forward and make a stealth check, please.
17.
Okay. So, as you move forward towards this loud, uproarious croaking and chanting of this odd sound, and you hear, once again, kind of that low, grumbling voice kind of echo out, not as loud this time, certainly not calling to it, but you hear it over the chanting. You begin by making it into this walled or fenced off area, which is the seemingly village. A few just slapped together tents with bits and bobs, thatched roofs, and large kind of cut tree to make their foundations and their walls. But again, in the very center seems to be this giant circular hut, where out of it comes that odd chanting. As you're kind of moving through, roll a perception check for me. You now walk through the front gates of the forest. The two edifices, similar to the ones you saw there, stand on either side. A slight flame kind of wisps up from inside of them. And what'd you get?
I got a 5.
Can we move up
You can.
from the guard towers?
Yeah, absolutely.
While he goes forward.
Sure.
Try to.
You see Loudscout now
cover
pass
in
through
in
this
woods.
entrance to the village. And now you four move forward. Correct.
Well, Metolius is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Grimtuck will follow.
Loudscout, almost a moment too late as you pass by the doorway of one of these huts, you hear a soft padded footstep to the left of you. And then you stop and look, and you see one of the bullywugs in a long cloak-like shroud stand there and look down at you. And you see its neck expand greatly, and it lets out this uproar.
Can I light him on fire?
You can. Go for it. Let's roll initiative, you and me.
Alright. I think that's a 20, not natural. It is.
Okay. Bonfire?
Yep.
Okay. How much
Or you
damage?
can get a noise out. He's got to make a dex save.
Does not make it.
Alright. So it's 2d8. That's 11 damage.
As his throat fills, you cast your spell beneath him, and you see his clothes go up, and in almost the sound of its life escaping him, you hear a scream, low and guttural, but a scream echo out of it as it burns to death, and the chanting stops.
I end the concentration on the fire.
It goes away.
You scouting never works out, by the way.
It's not true.
You all hear that same scream as you saw for a moment the light of Loudscout's fire envelop this creature, and then you all also heard the chanting stop.
Metolius starts to do the Captain America run.
Yeah.
With the shield.
Hey everyone, this is Dix. You also know me as the voice of Loudscout. Sorry to interrupt the show, but I just wanted to take a quick second to let you listeners know that if you were in the Portland area next weekend, to come say hi to us at Rose City Comic Con. We're going to have our own booth on the main exhibit floor. Some of the cast will be there hanging out, and we will also have our brand new merch on sale for the first time. We have a lot of cool stickers coming your way, as well as a couple of posters, all of them of course being all original artwork from the show. So that is next weekend, September 7th, 8th, and 9th. You can find us on the main floor at booth 1124. That's 1124. Enjoy the rest of the show, and we hope to see you at this year's Rose City Comic Con.
As you now stand there at the Loudscout, everything kind of stops and goes much quieter. You hear...
So, the second that I hear that noise start to come out of him, I'm going to start rushing towards the back of the hut.
Okay.
And as I go behind the building, I'm going to reach inside my cloak and rip off the patch for the pit and throw it underneath his body in hopes that it'll catch him and hopefully the front of his hut as well.
How...
If he's close enough to it. I think it's 10 by 10.
Okay.
I don't have the
believe
DMG in front of me, but I think it's 10 by 10.
I believe it is 10 by 10.
Okay. So... to what end are you doing this? What are you trying to do with
I'm
it?
hoping that his body will fall into the pit and the front part of the hut will crumble, looking like this pit just opened underneath
Like
this
a
hut.
sinkhole?
I like it. Okay. What are you all doing as you heard that kind of scream go out?
How far away are we?
Well, you went up into the kind of dead forest, so I would say you're probably about maybe 40 feet away from where Loudscout now is behind the hut.
reach him? Try and dash to him?
You could dash to him, yes.
We would probably be running towards him.
Yeah. What's that?
We'd probably be running towards him. I think that's what we said we were doing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
I would ready my rapier and follow the group if that's what they were doing.
So
It is a pit. It is 10 feet on each side.
10 feet on each side. Okay.
Yeah, so once I get on, I want to kind of like run around the hut and then hide on the back side so that they can't see me when they're coming out of that main
Are
building.
you going to do anything to... Your companions are now rushing towards this...
I'm gonna like, no! Put my hands up and like start waving at them like, no!
Alright. I'll slow down. And
Yeah, if I see
go
Lovegout
back
do
to
that, I
trying
would,
to be
even-
stealthy.
try
Okay.
to get back in the tree line
Yeah.
Sure.
Go back in the tree line.
and listen.
Take off battle helmet.
From... As the chanting stopped and from out of the main tent, the one that this is all kind of happening within, you see a much taller, more kind of bulbous frog creature, bullywug, that seems to have fattened with wealth and is decked out in what you can only assume to be the riches of its people. Pieces of creatures, like teeth and things like that, adorn him as though crowns and jewels. And you all, while you're standing out there, kind of see the flaps open and him and two others holding kind of almost larger looking spears, a little bit longer on the actual blade themselves and a little bit more ragged, as though they would do a bit more if used like that. Kind of walk out next to him, and Elduin, as your spell is still up, you hear him look to the other two and go, "I did not believe he had made a nest this far. I do not wish to lose another, but we must be wary." And the other two go, just kind of nod in agreement, and he must be hungry. Ready his meal.
I'm standing next to everyone but Ladska, basically.
Yes.
I can understand one of them. Could you... I assume you could hear the voices, but... They're speaking of feeding something, I don't know what, but it sounds like they're feeding it now. I don't...
Would it be the trolls?
It did not seem... They did not... I cannot say.
So I'm assuming Loud Scout probably just heard a lot of croaking.
A lot of croaking. A lot of heavy croaking.
Yeah.
You now hear the soft padding of feet kind of move away from you, Latscott, as you are hiding your back close to the tent itself.
As in they went back inside?
They seem to be starting to walk back towards the inside. They're not there yet, but they're getting away.
Okay. How much distance is there to the next hut over?
To not the main hut, but the one over to it?
Yeah.
10, 15 feet. Not very long at all.
And how close is it to the main hut?
I would say
Probably about the same.
probably about the same. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe like 20.
Does the hut have any windows or anything like that?
They don't. They're all like skins, and the only main entry seems to be the doorway upon any of these huts.
Alright. So Loud Scout wants to kind of... He's going to kind of... If he hears them walking away, he wants to peek around the corner and see if he can make sure that that's what they're doing and going back in the hut.
Okay.
So, should I roll a perception
Yeah,
check?
let's do it.
Metolius wants to creep forward.
I'm going to give myself advantage on that one by using Tides of Chaos
Okay.
for a 9.
For a 9.
Way to bend reality.
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of peek out around, and you're able to catch effectively the coattails of these three as they walk back in. You can't see much about them more than that, but you do notice 3 figures back inside this semi-lit tent from the inside, but they are obscured by the time you see them.
So it looks like no one noticed the stream of this.
They did. It more looked like they saw this and took the bait that Loud Scout did, as though...
It was a sinkhole.
Or something like that, yeah.
I see.
Alright, so Loud Scout's going to cast Greater Invisibility on himself.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I was gonna make a little note, but I don't think I have to.
And he's going to sneak around the hut and try to see if he can get up close enough to peek inside right after they get back in.
I would like you to roll. Take
Ha.
That's what, yep.
It's gonna be really good, though.
44.
Oh, buddy.
So 44 is a hit?
No,
No,
he's
that
just
was-
rolling on the chaos table right now.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
Not only do you find yourself disappearing, but you also feel the ability that you now can, for the next minute, you can teleport up to 20 feet as a bonus action on each of your turns.
Oh man, that is so good!
Almost an etherealness encase
Shit.
your body.
Ghost Loud Scout.
Okay, so yeah, so I sneak my way up towards the door of this hut.
Okay. With greater invisibility, I would say roll a stealth check with advantage. Or you could just, if you wanted to, and just pop over there.
No, I don't want to be like heard. So that's an 18.
You are just fine. You stealth while completely unseen. So yeah, you walk up to this tent, and as you kind of, just before you reach it, you hear that same drumming begin again. A little softer at the moment, but still there and continuous. You all notice Loud Scout disappear completely. Just gone from view.
Could we at least tell that it was like a magical effect?
I mean, it's vocal and somatic.
Yeah, like that he did
Yeah,
it,
there's
not
no
that.
component. But
Yeah,
it's not
it's-
the other two.
Okay,
You saw
cool.
him with a flourish of his hands and a quick word.
Yeah, okay. Like he expected to disappear, not like just all of a sudden disappear. Okay.
And Loud Scout is gone, walking over there. So yeah, what are you four doing as you see Loud Scout disappear?
I think I'm moving toward the village.
Yeah, we're moving up closer.
Okay.
Feed something.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be distracted.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I say, like, we need to move quick. If it turns out that whatever this thing is eating is these kids, like,
I agree.
we need to move now.
Let's go.
So, as you move forward, are you guys keeping through the dead trees and making it to the... Because there is the kind of slight ramshackle wall around this. Are you walking towards where Loud Scout was and trying to keep hidden? Are you going front-wise and just meeting it head-on? What are you
Gonna
doing?
jump the fence.
Okay, so now you stand... If you were jumping the fence, you were standing behind where Loud Scout was. Effectively.
Okay. I'll join him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Fuck it. Let's do it.
Word?
Yep.
So you now stand all four waiting to see what happens next, not knowing exactly. As Loud Scout moves forward, you're unable to see him, but he is not next to you, as he did not just stay in place. So Loud Scout, you get up to the doorway. I'd like you to roll a perception check as you kind of take a peek in.
10.
There are a few things you see. The light is dim, it's hard to exactly parse, but luckily with your eyes you can see in this kind of light.
Oh, yeah, my eyes are super great in the dark.
Super great. Super good. You see 6 individuals sitting upon their knees in rows. Still those frogs, from what you can tell, and in front of them sits these oddly created drums. Almost from bones of some kind of creature, larger than a human, but still a similar thing out of their kind of skulls. They seem to be making these just broken drums, and that's where that sound comes from. And then they raise their head. You hear that low walk come out of them. These are the creatures that seem to be chanting, that grow in volume, that have kind of gone throughout this space. To either side of them sits more guard-like entities. To either side of the door as it's those two that you saw walk out, the larger creature with their hefty spears, and then 3 more in turn, kind of put in different places throughout this round tent. And then next to the fire in the center, you see that bulbous frog creature who initially came out to check on that sound with his guards, and he holds his hand above the fire, and you hear his voice kind of echo out, and then you see him grip something in his hand and put it to his chest. You can't see exactly what it is, but a glint kind of shines off it for a moment in the firelight. And then you see 2 of those guards walk back to what looks like a cage. And they open it, and you hear the sound of cries as they remove this small child and begin to tie him foot to foot, hand to hand.
I turn around and book it.
Okay. And then as your back is to them, the chanting grows louder.
Would we have been able to hear the cries from where we were? Where we are currently?
Yes, as you're standing there, you begin to hear the chants grow louder and the drums kind of thrum, but then you hear the cry of something more human.
The second I hear a human-like cry, I'm dashing.
Look who's the hero now. Wait, that's your paycheck.
I would like you to make a dexterity save towards the
crying.
Make a dexterity saving throw. Let's go.
No, because
He is.
16.
You see Rain charge out from behind the tent you were behind.
So the second I see her, I drop my concentration on greater invisibility so that she can see me, and I say, "The kids are inside!" And then I bamf inside. And how big is the hut?
It's like I would say like 30 feet wide.
I cast Earth Tremor right dead center in the middle of it.
Okay. At this point, after you cast that, I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Jesus.
Because now shit has started.
What the fuck is wrong with me? I got a 2 and a 6 for my advantage on initiative rolls.
Natural 20, which makes it a 23.
I got a 9. I'm throwing just crap tonight.
15 for Elderwood.
I got an 8. Loud Scout got an 8.
Not last.
Metolius?
11.
Grimtuck?
9.
And Rain?
23.
Cool. So, you see... Well, actually, Loud Scout, your spell goes off.
So I want to center it right in the middle of like where like the most enemies are. So like I would imagine all the like drummers and stuff right in the middle of the room.
Yeah, they're at the edges of the wall. I mean, so the very center of the room would be the fireplace where the bulbous frog would be. Around the edges are all the others.
Okay.
So you have a circular tent.
Yeah.
With your back effectively to the door, 2 guards to the either side. Then you have the drummers and chanters, and then interspersed are 2 more guards, and then the 2 that went up to the cage and pulled the kid out.
And yeah, I'm gonna center it on the big guy in the middle.
Okay. Word.
So he makes a dex saving throw.
Sorry, is the cage inside the hut? Or
It is. It's to the back of the hut.
Gotcha.
Opposite side of the actual door. And he gets a What's your DC?
14.
He makes it.
Ah, alright.
Does it hit more than just him?
I mean, it hits everybody in 10-foot radius, but
It is not then. It only would hit him. And if he makes it, it doesn't hit him at all?
that's what I'm double checking, but I don't think so.
Did you spend a spell slot to cast it?
Yep.
Then I'm pretty sure you get half damage.
says, you cause a tremor in the ground in a 10-foot radius. Each creature other than you in that area must make a dex saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 1d6 bludgeoning damage and is knocked prone. If the ground is in that area is loose earth or stone, it becomes difficult terrain.
Okay. It's not. He isn't. And as you begin this, you see him reach his hand out from rising it up and points towards you. And in the other hand, you see him grip. And in the shine now inside the tent, a blue quartz stone sits within his grasp.
That's bad.
And you hear the utterance of out of him. Rain, you're dashing towards the front of the thing.
Okay, so obviously I'm heading in to see what's going on.
You would be able, from the point of where you were standing to the tent, you would be able to get inside the tent.
Okay, once I hit the entrance, looking in, what do I see? Do I see the kid tied up?
Yes.
Okay.
You see the kid tied up at the back with two frogmen on either side of him, seemingly placing a stick, not a spit, but almost like to hold him and lift him on there. You see drummers along either side, including multiple guards. Two guards, which you have just walked into their range, as they're on either side of the door.
Right.
Loudscat in the very center, and the big, creepy, bulbous thing staring and screaming at Loudscat.
Okay.
That is what you see when you rush in.
Do I see the cages from here?
You see a cage.
Okay, so there's not multiple cages?
No.
Just the one that kid was in? Okay, that changes my plan a little bit. So with dashing as my bonus action, how close can I get to everything happening?
Anywhere in that building you could get to.
Okay, gotcha.
But you're gonna run between two guys.
You are in their melee. If you were to dash anywhere else,
It would be both opportunity attacks?
Absolutely.
Okay. If I stood in front of the doorway but didn't go in, can I see the big guy?
Yes.
Can I shoot through the doorway without getting in melee with these two?
Yes. Yes, you could.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. You're basically shooting through this kind of brazier in the center, kind of a old rickshaw brazier, but still that effective.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to shoot the big guy from out here without getting in melee with these two.
Okay. So you stop instead of rushing into the building you will then have to not see the things you saw. You would not be able to see the cage and all that stuff.
Or the kid.
Okay,
never mind. I wouldn't do that then.
Okay.
Well,
you could still
I
rush
guess
between
I'd
the two
enter
and still
melee
fire.
with one of them and attack with my rapier.
Okay, cool.
And they have not had a turn in combat yet,
not.
right? So I'll get advantage because of assassinate. And that'll be a natural 20.
Nice.
So that'll be my third crit of the night. Not bad.
So this is sneak attack because you had advantage, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Oh my god.
And 8. Alright.
So many kills.
So
All the
fucking
dice.
many.
So yeah, this is just one of the guards. Let's say the one to the left.
Okay.
Turns out he got hired by Labor Ready. He doesn't even know what's going on. It's it's his first day.
15, 20,
You have blood on my new uniform.
This comes out of my paycheck.
Oh.
30.
Centaurs.
39 damage.
39?
Yeah.
Okay. You rush inside, seeing the child being bound and put upon effectively a spit to be held. I'd say Han Solo style.
Mm-hmm.
In just that moment, you stop yourself from rushing past, which would have allowed them to take an attack upon you. Instead, you stand your ground and stab into the closest thing next to you and fell that creature. With one swift strike, it is down.
Do I have any movement left?
Yes, especially if you wouldn't have had to dash as a bonus action at that point.
Okay.
You have ample amounts of movement.
But there's still another guy.
Right.
There's still another guy.
But I could get past him without getting within 5 feet of him now. If I took that guy out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little dicey of a saying. I would say the doorway isn't huge.
Alright, well then, Instead of dashing, I'll disengage as my bonus action.
Perfect.
And
staying inside or outside?
Get in the building.
Okay. You disengage to the left side, past where the body now lays.
Excellent.
Word. So, at that point, you see the guards kind of look crazed in this moment, seeing the creature in the center point and scream out at your small sorcerer friend, and 3 disappear through folds in this tent to go outside somewhere. And then moments later, you hear a rip come from the sides of the tent that they had left. The 3 guards, the 2 that were on the child, and then one of the ones that were along the side with the chanters. And you see the edges of this tent rip open as these odd crustacean-like creatures with the frogmen riding upon them rush into and at the 2 of you.
Swamp lobsters?
So if we are still behind the tent, if Eldon and I are still behind the tent, we watch to...
No, they went to the opposite side.
Okay.
So they didn't leave, they went back behind everything.
So is this a shack or a tent?
This is a very large tent.
Oh, they went to like a sectioned off part of the tent?
They basically went out some back folds behind. Not out the side where your guys are looking at. They went out to the...
I thought we were behind the tent.
You're behind the first tent that Loud Sky was waiting at.
Oh, okay.
Where the guy fell in,
Yeah.
which is at the southwest corner
okay,
of the building.
cool.
So, they went to the northwest, out the big back of the big tent. They had come back in now with these giant, what seemed to be crustacean-like creatures being ridden on by these bullywugs. Plowing through, the chanters just dive out of the way as these things' claws snap and start to rush.
Are they like crab-shaped or lobster-shaped?
They're more like crayfish.
Okay, got it.
Of course they are, because it's a swamp.
Makes
Swamp
sense.
giant crawdads.
Alright.
And they rush towards... Loud Scout is the only one they can actually get to at first. Rain, you are still too far away.
Okay.
The first 2 rush forward with you, Loud Scout, and they almost tower over you in there.
So,
Yeah.
very small.
You're very small. They're very big.
So there's 2 crayfish and 2 frogmen. 1 frogman on top of each crayfish.
There are 3 crayfish, frogmen on each, and 1 of the guards still stands at the door.
Got it.
The chanters are just falling over themselves. The child is still tied up in the back, and the big meaty guy hasn't even moved. He just knows this is coming and seems to watch them storm at you, Loud Scout.
This is all happening inside.
Yes.
Do we see the tent like shaking and
You definitely see the tent shaking.
Okay. Something intense is happening in that tent.
Don't worry, guys. You're next. In both senses, but Loud Scout, you see 1 claw fly at you with that's a 23 to hit.
Yeah, that's it.
Second is a 9.
Nope.
Third, which is the second, is another 23 to hit. And fourth is a 15.
I use shield.
Okay. So, 2 hits. Correct? Okay. The first one is... That is 8 points of damage, bludgeoning, and you are grappled as the first claw grabs onto you.
Okay.
The second one does the same and does 12 points of damage as your held form holds little protection from its gigantic claws as it cracks into you. You now feel yourself being pulled in 2 directions by these creatures. Third one is unable to get close enough to you nor to Rain and is just rushing towards the door where he sees the other attacker.
Alright.
That brings it to Elduin and Metolius' turn. You hear the snapping of odd chitinous claws from inside the tent, which is a new sound.
That is a new
That is a new sound.
It's a new experience.
My elf ears perk up.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see...
New experience.
You see the tent shudder as these creatures had ripped through one side.
Fair enough.
And you two are standing behind the tent that Latsuka was initially saw.
So we can get to...
Yes.
How far inside the tent can we get with a 30-foot movement?
30 foot. You could make it just inside the door.
Perfect. Well, who's first?
Eldrin, you're first.
I'm going to sprint up to the door. Not actually sprint, I'm just going to move up to the door.
Okay.
And I'm going to... So I can see all the baddies at this point, yeah?
Basically, the main thing you can't see is the cage and the child. There's too much commotion going on.
Sure.
So you can see the big bulbous one, and you can see the 3 crayfish riders, as well as the one effectively standing now next to you.
Okay. Wait, I don't want to get too close to the...
Yeah, because
Okay.
there is still the other door guard that I didn't kill.
Gotcha. I don't want to get within melee range.
Okay. So you went 20 feet up. You are now effectively 10 feet back from the door. You are looking in, seeing 3 crayfish riders, a big bulbous guy, and you know that there is another one right in front of you to the right side of that door. You see his shoulder standing as he kind of readies himself for an attack.
Gotcha. So I can... And Lad Scout is being grappled by
2
of them.
2 different
from...
giant crayfish.
So I'm going to... and they're riders on both of them, yeah?
Yes.
I'm going to shoot an arrow at one of the crayfish that is
Okay.
grappling.
Do it.
23 to hit.
23 hits?
And I'm going to use Vanishing Arrow.
Okay.
So roll a Charisma saving throw.
Obviously.
The most
Turns out
charismatic
this-
of all crustaceans.
He can tap dance. He
You've all
tells
seen
jokes.
The Muppets.
He's good at one-liners.
Is Pepe a crayfish or shrimp? In the Muppets. That's a...
He's a shrimp, I'm pretty sure.
Is he a shrimp? That's 11.
He fails.
He does, and
So the Feywild with you,
So he
crayfish.
takes... he takes 7 points of magical piercing damage.
7 points! Oh,
and
gosh.
the rider, well, the mount vanishes to the Feywild, but
Yes.
the rider doesn't necessarily.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted.
Awesome.
The rider falls, taking 2 damage as he collapses to the ground.
And then I'm going to fire
Oh, this fight's gonna get a lot
What
more
happens
weird.
when it comes back? Does it come back on top of the
the
bullet?
nearest unoccupied space.
I'm gonna make it weird.
And
You
then,
feel one of the claws leave, and is now no longer on you. You feel yourself pulled to the left, effectively.
and then I'm going to fire a second shot at the other
Okay.
crayfish
Got it.
for 21
Hits.
magical damage.
That's good.
10 magical damage.
10.
10 magical damage.
Boom.
And then I am going to use my action surge to quickly fire another shot at the same one
Okay.
Yeah.
pop, 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 for 18 to hit.
Drive by.
Elven drive-by.
At the same one, you said?
Same one. For 11 points of magical piercing damage.
Okay.
And then I'm going to fire my fourth shot.
Ooh.
Deeps it
For,
down.
ooh, 26 to hit.
26 hits.
More deeps.
For another 7 points of magical piercing damage.
Is there any way with that amount of damage that Loud Scout would get to potentially roll to break free? Since he got like arrowed super hard.
He does not.
Damn. Sorry, Loud Scout.
You tried.
It's cute, though. I appreciate
Tried
it.
to rules
Probably
Lord.
like fucking target practice.
How's my grouping?
Probably pretty good.
With it like that up.
The way you rolled.
Yeah, it's like
I'd
26, 23, 20 something.
say- Is there a niner in there?
So, actually, now it's Metolius' turn. Sorry, I almost jumped ahead.
Metolius is going to run forward
Unless you wanted to do anything else.
And
Okay. Metolius.
and go to attack the doorman.
The doorman.
kill Jeeves.
26 to hit.
26 hits.
For 9 points of damage.
9 points.
Yes.
He is still standing.
Damn
Though I do feel you maybe did the cool thing where you ran it behind that side of the door and just stabbed it straight through the
Yeah.
Straight through the
flap.
through the flap, and you see the sword sticking out from his side, and he pulls it back out.
Yeah, I'll just swing on him again.
Okay.
Let's not get too fancy yet. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. It's a +1 because I have cast magic weapon on myself. So.
Okay. Still standing.
Darn it! 22 to hit. And 14 points of slashing damage for the second one.
That kills it outright.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah.
Do I have any movement left?
Do you have any movement left? I would say you have about 5 feet at most from where you're standing. You get inside the building if you wish.
Oh man, I feel like jumping headlong into this would be bad. So
jump feet first.
I'm gonna back up 5 feet.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
So Grimtuck can run through.
Excellent. But it's not his turn yet.
I know.
Instead, you see the bulbous creature move just a few feet forward, 5 feet, just getting just a little ways away from you, Loudscat, as the crayfish are attacking you. And you see him move his hands, and as he grips that blue shard, you see his hands form a shape of a spell you know very well. Push it forward and cast Thunderwave upon a 15-foot cube in front of him, which encompasses both Rain and Loudscat. And I would like...
And crayfish.
And the crayfish.
And the rider. Well, maybe it could be a big ass crayfish.
It is a big-ass crayfish, but it does include those. Which means both Loudscout and Rain, you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution.
Constitution.
Thought I could use my evasion.
19.
Only dexterity.
For last
Dirty 20.
Sweet!
Ha!
Excellent.
Huzzah!
Excelsior!
Nope. And nope. Okay. So, as he casts Thunderwave, a loud explosion echoes out, almost deafening the group inside. But as he does that, everybody takes 12 points of thunder damage, 6 for the two of you, and Loudscout, the crayfish and rider, actually the rider of that crayfish that's on you dies. The crayfish, on the other hand, is thrown back 10 feet away, releasing you.
Oh, sweet.
Loudscout falls to the ground, ungrappled.
Grapple free!
And the guy who fell on his butt when the other one disappeared, he was out of it.
He was out of it.
Okay. He's still on his butt, right?
And the banished guy comes back to the end of its turn.
Yep. But it did 12 points of damage. Damn. Yeah. You see the thunder wave smack into the crayfish and its rider, releasing Loudscout, throwing them back. Rain and Loudscout, that wave of energy passes through you, but you hold steady. You also see the shell of this creature crack under the pressure of the spell, but it still kind of holds itself, barely. You see him rush back, the giant bulbous creature rush backwards away from you all, and then as about 10 feet past you, he jumps as a standing leap and flies through one of the exits the creatures had taken initially, and is now out of sight for a moment.
Wait, vertical exit?
No,
Not the main entrance. One of the slits in the tent that the
okay.
creatures went out back, and now the crayfish came back through.
Okay, I got you.
He leaps through.
Like where
the tent.
He basically leaps through where the crayfish can
Yeah.
go through. So is he going straight north or northwest or?
He would be going basically straight north. At that point, you hear the low croak of something that doesn't sound like these frog creatures, as these two similarly large toads bound through that same opening, adding more fray to the fire. But they also finish their movement and are only able to... Yes, they are not able to reach anyone in their first turn, leading to Grimtuck's turn.
So, this tent
Is filled with...
Looks really probably
Two-
messed up.
It's super messed up. Clothed, cultist-esque frog people are clamoring upon themselves
Okay.
as a frog guard on his butt is on the ground. Another is upon his mount that is cracked and broken, dead. And then a third rider / crayfish is basically untouched, coming towards you all. Then you see these two giant toads rushing forward out of the kind of breaks in the tent to the north of this.
Okay. Is this a 4-post tent or is it circular?
It's circular.
It's not anymore.
It's a circular. It's gonna get weird.
It's circular.
Gotcha. And I could make it in the tent with 30 feet of movement, like inside of it?
Yes, you can make it just inside of the tent.
Okay, so I have 40 feet of movement. The reason I ask is what I would like to do is... If I dash, I don't get an action, but I can still rage. But I don't need that necessarily for what I have planned. What I would like to do...
You get movement for raging, right?
Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to rage yet. Got a different idea. So what I would like to do is 40 feet of movement towards the largest support beam, since it looks like there are multiple of them. I'm going to drink my potion. I'm going to drink
on this idea in the back of my mind. Too.
drink my potion of growth
Okay.
and throw myself into the nearest support beam that I can find.
Word.
Because I will weigh effectively around a half ton.
Yeah.
Because it quadruples my weight and raises my size
So
up one.
roll an attack.
And would it be an athletics or just an attack?
Just roll an attack.
Okay.
Let's say with advantage.
Okay, because
You're a big creature.
Recklessly throw yourself.
God, I'm rolling shit tonight. It's 7 plus 8, 15. That's not bad. Yeah, so I hit to a 15.
Do you know what the AC of a standing pole is?
It's probably
15.
not awesome.
It's not 15.
Yeah. Especially if you weigh a half ton because you're the fucking Kool-Aid man.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to go through it into the tent, but I'm definitely trying to bring the tent down.
Okay. So the first support beam you get to, you crash through. Roll your basic damage. Roll a D. What's your damage for? Actually, just roll a D4 for me.
Okay. 4.
Oh, you get another D4.
Oh yeah, plus 4.
Yeah.
Or plus D4. 8. So
And
it
then
does 8.
plus your strength modifier.
8 plus 5.
You just crash through that first pillar. The above you, the tent seems to sink in. The whole thing hasn't fallen yet, but you notice that if you do this a few more times, the thing is coming down.
That's the plan. And I'm still, just to clarify, on the outside of the tent
Yeah.
as well.
You just basically got up to the closest support beam and just elbow chucked right into it.
Nice. So that's coming down.
Yeah. Okay.
Grimtuck is larger than life.
Yes, huge. I am very
Are you
big at the
doing
moment.
anything else?
I mean, I would like to, if I haven't moved my full movement, I would like to continue moving if I can.
Okay,
towards the
you won't
next
be able
beam.
to... Sure, towards the next beam, you won't be able to get there.
Yeah, no, I didn't imagine I will, but
But you are moving towards... So, inside, who is Rain and Loud Scout, and then outside, but close to that, you all four see that the closest corner of the tent sink as you hear a loud echoing crack and the support beam breaks in half.
Tight.
I think Grimtuck has gone around the side of the building,
Yeah.
out of our sight.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he went around the left side,
Okay.
which was the left side of the building. Am I right?
Mhm.
Cool. Okay, that brings it to Loud Scout. It is your turn now.
Sweet. So, how far are the tent flaps to the north that he ran through?
It is a 30-foot tent, so it is probably 20 feet away from you. You would also have to go through... Oh, yeah, it's about 20 feet away from you.
Yeah, I want to use my bonus action
That's a bonus
to
action.
bamf 20 feet for free to the other
Sure.
side of the tent flaps, and can I see him?
As you bamf into this other area, you see kind of a offshoot portion of this tent. It almost seems to be housed. You notice there were 6 cages, large cages there, and all of them doors flung open. And you see at the very back 2 tent flaps as his bulbous form seems to start to run out the back.
I would like to use... well, my movement's 25 feet. I'm going to go that far first, towards him.
Okay. You wouldn't be able to catch up exactly to him, but you're damn close.
How close?
Within 10 feet of him.
And I can just... there's like nothing in between us. He's just right there.
10 flaps. He's just about at them.
I would like to cast Blindness, Deafness.
Okay.
And try to blind him.
Okay.
So he makes a Constitution saving throw.
You know what else blinds people? Hot pokers.
Also true. Really, Grimtuck would know more about that than you.
Yeah. It's a thing.
He... What's your DC?
14.
He rolled a... 24.
Wow.
Luck. Alright.
As the spell washes over him, he kind of shakes it off, and you see a wide, raised eye turn and look back at you.
Alright, that's what I got.
Okay. Word. Top of the round. Brings it to Rain.
Alright, seeing that the tent is starting to come down, can I get to this kid within just like regular movement and without any attacks of opportunity?
Sadly, no.
Okay.
So, to your right, there is a very broken crayfish,
Okay.
kind of getting in the way between the wall and the brazier,
Okay.
that has a dead rider upon it. There is a bullywug in the center behind the brazier that has no crayfish, that had a crayfish.
Okay.
Then to the left, there is the ones that haven't really been touched, which is another rider crayfish, and then 2 toads. So there are about 5 things effectively in your way on either side.
The toads have riders too.
The toads do not.
Okay, so this would just be a mess of attacks of opportunity if I tried.
Giant wall of hit points in your way.
Yeah. You basically, if you wanted to, you could effectively try to skirt the left side with taking one from the crayfish and the rider and probably get around the toads.
Okay.
As they jumped in from the side. That would be, so 2 attacks, but only from that side.
Alright, I mean, I think at this point, no matter what, I'm trying to get to this kid.
Cool.
Is what's happening.
Gotcha.
So, let me know how that has to go down, I guess.
That would be the easiest route of access that you see.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. And I'm going to roll a attack of opportunity from the crayfish.
If I don't need to use my bonus action to dash, I will use my bonus action to at least make 1 disengage to avoid one of the attacks.
Okay.
Correction, I misread the spell. I actually do weigh about 1 ton.
Okay.
So, it's times 8, not times 4.
Oh, man.
Word.
1 ton grim.
I'm guessing if you had a choice of the disengage, it would be the crayfish.
And I'm about
Yes, definitely.
13
So the crayfish
feet
does
tall.
miss you as you kind of dance out of the way, but its rider takes its spear in a hand and stabs into you. And misses.
Cool. Excellent. So then I get to the kid.
Rain dances past both attackers, missing both the crayfish's attack using a disengage action, bonus action,
Yes.
and dodging deftly out of the way of the bullywug top.
Okay, I want to use...
you make it to the kid.
I want to use my actual action to cut the rope that he's tied with.
Sweet.
And then I'm just going to hunker down here and use my body to block anything that would hit him.
Okay, you see Rain rush forward, dodging out of the way of multiple attacks, taking a second, cutting the cords upon the kid's wrists and ankles, and then stands stalwart as a protector in front of...
More over him.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
Ready to take the brunt of anything coming towards that way. Okay? At this point, you see the cultists all begin to scurry out, diving underneath the tent, running away. Grimtuck, as you see one kind of dive underneath the flap, you get an attack of opportunity.
Nice! Let's do that. Critical fail. Because I can't roll for shit tonight.
You know what I have you do?
Huh.
Percentile dice, high or low, please.
So the double digit is my 10s and the other one's my 1. All right, let's say
High or
high.
low? High? Okay.
I rolled a 71.
Okay. Then you just miss.
Nice.
Awesome. You slam down into the ground and see this frail frog creature just roll out of the way.
It's harder when you're 13 feet tall.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically just like piss themselves.
That's fine.
Yeah, makes you feel better.
Yeah.
So, Rain, the first of the crayfish riders, the ones you dodge out of the way, turns, seeing you behind it, and rushes forward towards you. First, the bullywug atop stabs at you with a 15 hit.
Matches.
Okay, second hit is a 20.
Yes.
2 spears fly out from you. Actually, nope, just 1 spear, because that's not how these creatures work. You take 4 points of damage from the spear.
Okay.
Secondly, its mount rears up and with 2 large, heinous claws comes down upon you.
Getting the clamps.
Getting them clamps.
Clamps.
Old grabby and squeezy.
That would be an 11 for the first one, which you dodge out of the way. The second one hits for a 12 and does not. You're able to deftly dodge as you continue protecting over this child.
Excellent.
The second crayfish, the broken one. Actually, the second crayfish effectively is the one that is no longer on this plane and dances among fairies and other fae folk for just
but a moment
more. And at the end of its turn, it kind of pops back into the world, now back in this chaos with its rider nearer to it, but not on top of it.
Well, the rider gets to get up and make an action.
It's true. The rider does.
And there's the broken crayfish.
Well, that was next. The rider stabs at Loud Scout. Nope, Loud Scout's gone. The rider actually goes for... Well, let's see. I guess Rain is the only person in view.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, wait.
And stabs at you... Rushes forward towards you. Stabs at you for 13.
Does not hit.
Okay, and then he lunges head first and tries to bite you with a natural 1. And I'm going to say low. And misses.
Okay.
Okay. And that brings it to the broken one, who rushes forward towards the doorway where Metolius is stabbing things and shambles out and tries to attack the first thing it sees, which is you.
Yep, because I backed up 5 feet.
Yes, you did. That is a 9 to hit, which doesn't hit. Second is a 22.
I'll use look. What's his mod?
His mod is 4.
That is a 16, which does not break my AC.
Boom. You are able to
luck
fend
point.
off the broken creature as it tries to clamp upon you.
Luckily, it missed me.
Hey.
Okay.
That brings it to Elduin's turn. There's the broken one in front of you, then of course there's the other 2 inside that are now both harrying Rain in the far back.
Okay.
And then of course there's the 2 giant toads that have appeared.
Yeah, sure. I'll shoot the one that's harrying Ray.
Roll. Okay.
I'll shoot one of them that's harrying her.
Sure.
Alright.
Left or right? Let's say that.
Left.
Okay. Left would be the one that has the least amount of damage.
Well, then let's do right.
Okay.
One that is more hurt. That would be well over 20.
That hits.
That is 11 of magical damage.
Okay. And that creature just falls flat.
Sweet.
As it was the bullywug that was attacking. Just.
Pancakes.
Yep. Dunzos.
Okay. I will.
That was the mountless
Second shot.
Yeah. No, that was the bullywug that had fallen off and rushed at Rain.
Got it. Second one. Second shot. The next one. That's.
Are you doing the bullywug on top of the crayfish that appeared, or are you doing the crayfish that is attacking Rain?
Good question.
The one that's attacking Rain is the one that you pincushioned already, right?
No, the
that's
one.
the broken one that's next to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the one that's attacking Rain has not been hit at all.
Okay. Even I got mixed up.
Yeah, no worries. I'll go for one of the bullywugs.
Okay, so there's
One.
sure.
Okay. 28 to hit.
28 hits.
Frog legs are on the menu tonight, boys.
Can this be Jambalaya Battle Royale?
10
Yeah.
points.
Could that be the name of the
10
episode?
points of magical piercing.
10 points.
I think it should be.
The bullywug does not fall, though your arrow hits deep within its being. You see it kind of croak and start to breathe heavy as it begins to bleed out.
Delightful.
I'm done.
Okay?
But it's not dead.
It is not dead.
I'm dead.
Matolius.
Grievously wounded.
It is exceptionally wounded.
There's also this grievously wounded thing in front of me. So
It
I'm
is.
Swing at it.
Okay.
That'll be a 14.
14.
Yeah, 14.
14 does not hit.
Okay. I will swing again.
Okay.
I will use luck. Alright, 16.
16 does hit.
Ooh. 15 points of damage.
You crash your sword into this creature's carapace, and it flails for a moment, and as you twist the blade, it shrinks down and collapses.
And then he will... Can he make it to the crayfish, the jambalaya battle royale that's going on?
You can make it across. There are the toads that are you'd be getting close to, but you'd be able to kind of skirt around the edge. So going left, you'd be able to skirt around to the thing. There are 2 toads and a crayfish in the center still.
Matolius yells out, Grimtuck, we could really use your help here. And he will move around, try to make his way around to get to Rain and the child.
Okay. You're able to get to them, which leads you to the unhurt crayfish and the bullywug that is grievously hurt.
Okay.
You are now standing basically behind them.
Okay. That's the end of my turn.
Okay. Then, Loud Scout, the creature that stands in front of you looks down at you, and you see him pull up this staff off the ground, just like a spear, and it looks gnarled and gross, as though it was left by one of the creatures that opened these cages. And you see him almost lick the end of it, and a green slime is laid out upon the tip of it. And he thrusts his spear at you.
Alright.
Two-handed. That would be a 20 to hit you.
Yeah, that hits me.
Okay. As he stabs into you, you feel that green sick kind of come upon you. And you take 15 points of piercing and poison damage as you feel that spear stab into you. Next, you see him open his just dripping maw and try to bite down upon your small foot, doing only 10 to hit, which does not.
Does not.
As he does that, he turns and begins to continue to rush outside the tent, allowing an attack opportunity if you have one or have the ability to do so.
It has to be melee, right?
Yes.
I do have a dagger.
Stab with it.
I will stab him.
Yeah, do it.
No, I won't. For 9.
For 9. 9 does not hit. Instead, you see him do that same thing. He rushes out of the tent and then launches himself upon his thick frog-like legs towards the center of this crater.
Which side of the tent did he exit?
He exited on the east side. And then rushing towards the center, he leaps and lands a good 10 feet away from the edge.
Where the whirlpool is, that center?
He's going towards the center. He lands, and you hear that same deep, gurgling croak.
Quack, quack.
And he's out of your sight. You see no more. But Elduin, he'd be outside still,
Yeah.
and you'd see this.
Okay.
You see that bulbous creature standing there now, close to the edge, raising his hand, a blue gleam in it. And he does that same scream.
He's holding it like over the edge, or is he just in the middle of the area?
Well, he's holding it towards the center of this.
Okay. Do I have a reaction? Can I do something? Okay.
It is not your turn yet.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
But,
You made it seem like it was his turn.
no, I'm just saying, because your turn already went. I'm just saying this is what you see as you're outside.
Great.
And you also notice a slight bit of movement in the center of the pool.
Great.
And then it is the giant toad's turn, which there are two. Metolius, you are behind the crayfish rider, which is now harrying Rain. So the first one goes towards Rain as it turns
I
around.
wanted to try to get between them and Rain.
You would be able to do that with your You would be able to do that with your movement and wouldn't provoke an attack if you didn't leave melee.
Okay.
So yes.
Alright.
Okay.
I'm trying to get in between them and
Okay. So
the crayfish and them.
no worries. So first toad goes after Rain. Second toad goes after you. Okay. First toad goes for Rain at an 11. Doesn't
Does
hit.
not hit.
Second goes for Metolius. For a 9. It does not hit.
Okay.
That ends their turn. That leaves it to Grimtuck, who is outside now, and you hear a call from your companion.
Okay. I will rage,
Okay.
because I have not done that yet, which is nice. How many feet am I from the nearest post? Because I did move my full movement.
5 feet, probably.
That's exactly what I needed to hear, because I'm going to take my first swing on the guy who I had the opportunity attack on and missed. He was crawling out from under the tent. Is he prone or not?
He's already scurried away. since
Oh,
you
he
missed
bailed.
him. Yeah.
Okay, no, he's just out of there. Okay. Well, damn it. I was going to take cut him in half. Let me think here. How do I want to do this? 'Cause I want to Kool-Aid Man through that other one, too. But it sounds like everybody's getting their ass kicked. Yeah, I'll just, I imagine I might knock down the whole tent because I'm like 13 feet tall. But I'll come through.
Okay.
Fuck it. So I will enter the tent, not through the door.
Okay.
Go through the tent.
Okay.
To the best of my
Roll an
ability.
attack.
Okay.
Cut your way through the tent.
23.
Yeah, I think you're able to cut straight through that pole, tent, and all.
Nice.
Let's say you make yourself a door.
Nice. Through the pole, through the tent, going through. I imagine the tent sags a little bit more.
It definitely does.
Okay, cool. I'm very big. I'm going to hit the nearest thing to me. It's
A
just
relatively sized axe cleave through the post and the tent flat, like the tent side, but then you see Grimtuck raise the slouching tent and walk in.
and I'll hit the nearest thing to me that isn't a frogman, like a creature. One of
Would be the crayfish harrying both Metolius and Rain at the moment.
Let's kill that guy.
Okay.
So that'll be 21 to hit.
Hits.
And that will be... derp. So that 7 plus 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. 15 damage with my great axe.
Okay.
Did you include rage damage?
Yes.
Word. You land a swift hit straight into the crayfish, and you all hear a sickening crack as it's.
This one is the riderless one that was banished.
No. This one is the one that had the rider. That is most. So many crayfish. This is the one that had the rider, was not hit prior.
Got it.
The rider's mostly dead. The crayfish wasn't.
Grievously wounded one.
Yes,
Got
but
it.
now this crayfish has gotten a decent wound as you hear the sickening crack of his carapace.
Perfect. And that counts as my second attack?
Yes.
Damn it, I should have hit something weaker so I could great weapon master the next guy. But that's on me. I'll plan better next
There
time.
you go.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Grimtuck has entered the fray. Let's go.
I'm
He's
just gonna
huge.
start running towards
Okay.
where I saw him leap.
As you rush out of the back tent flap, you turn the corner to see where he had landed, and you find that bulbous creature now standing facing towards the very center of this just kind of crater, facing towards the water, hand high with that crystal shard in its hand, screaming that word. What do you do?
How far away from me is he?
He would be 30 feet away from you if you rushed out of the tent and hadn't moved any farther than that.
Alright, I'm going to pull out my small clay hand and hold it out towards him and try and cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp.
Okay.
Casting the hand right in front of him so it comes up and grabs him from that side.
Okay.
I think that's a strength saving throw.
Got it.
That's correct.
24.
Fuck, man.
I'm getting some real good. That was a natural 20. That was a real good roll.
What the fuck? So now there's this giant clay hand in front of him.
Word.
I'm having one of those nights too. I can't get a roll above 10.
God damn it.
To flavor that, what happens is the hand reaches up, and as it begins to grasp upon him, you see him take his arms and drop them for just a moment. You notice that though bulbous, he is strong, and he stops the fingers in mid-motion and stays them and continues his chant.
Can I move up, let's say, I guess enough to get me in range, and then I'm going to use my bonus action to teleport 20 feet right behind him and I guess try and make an offhand attack with my dagger. I'm just
Sure.
going to stab the fucker in the back.
Do it.
Can you flank your own hand?
That's a
I don't think you can.
No, he
Too bad.
24 to hit.
24 hits. He's not a conscious creature. It can't help you.
4 damage.
Okay. So yeah, you just dig into the meatiest piece you can find, and their dagger hits home, and dealing a decent amount of damage for what it is. But he continues. Top of the round. Rain.
Alright,
Oh wait, I guess I wouldn't be able to do that. If I use my bonus action to
That's
vamp
true, you
over
wouldn't.
there,
I
wouldn't
apologize.
be able to do
So would you still
My
vamp
bad.
over there, though?
that. Probably not.
Okay.
Instead, as a bonus action, I'm going to drink a health potion.
Okay.
That's fair.
Do you think?
So it's 2d4 plus 2 for regular, right?
Yes.
Oh, and to let you know,
5, 7. So I regain 7.
I did roll my 1d4 after my turn to see how long my growth potion lasts. It's just 1 hour. I just rolled a 1.
just an hour.
Just an hour.
Just
1
an
hour. So, I was hoping for 4.
Oh yeah, fair.
What you doing, Rain?
Alright.
So, effectively, there are now 2 toads near you. A crayfish with a very hurt individual on his back. And then the crayfish in the very center, which is not on top of you at the moment.
Okay. Wait, am I within 5 feet of
A toad, a crayfish.
all of these?
Actually, just the toad. Both toads, effectively, because Metolius stood between you, the crayfish, and the rider.
Okay.
You see the child at this point is just huddled underneath you, crying, trying to stay alive.
Yeah. So then, if I disengage, can I get out of there without any attacks?
With the kid?
Yes.
You would be able to disengage. The child would not.
I see. Okay. Like even if I was holding him?
Yeah.
Okay. Dang it.
Stab some stuff with me.
Stabity.
Yeah, pretty much.
You could. I would say I would even give you the ability as a bonus action. You could push the child behind you and out of the way, but you would not be able to disengage as well. Like
Right.
right now, you are still above, like, kind of hunched over the kid, protecting him who is on the ground. Is what the last motion for you said.
Right, I know. So I guess I would try to position us where the kid was between me and Metolius. and then attack whatever's in front of me from that position.
Okay. Toad number 1.
All right. So rapier. Yeah, I guess I don't get sneak attack for any reason.
Well, there's Grimtuck and me. They're next to you. So
Is he?
Grimtuck's behind. Effectively, you get flanking from Grimtuck.
I don't.
But
Metolius does.
Metolius does.
Oh, okay.
But Rain does not because
Got
he's
it.
too far away.
Right. Okay, so then, yeah, I'm just gonna attack normally with my rapier for dirty 20,
Okay. Dirty 20 hits.
and that'll be 10 damage. Actually, that's not bad.
Cool. 10 points of damage as you slash into this hulking toad.
11, wouldn't it be? Because it's a magic rapier. It's +1.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. It would be 11.
Okay.
Thanks. Good looking out.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, I would just hunker back down with the kid, pretty much.
Greyfish, the one that was harrying Metolius, will go for his first attack. Second. So, first attack, Metolius is 24. Second is a 18. And the rider will stab at you for nothing. It misses you.
Yeah, those are both gonna hit.
Okay. I will say, I've been doing it for the whole time. We'll do it again. First attack is it is 11 points of damage as it grapples upon you. The second is 8 points of damage as the first and second claw.
11 plus 8, so
Yep.
19.
19 points of damage, and you are grappled.
Okay.
The stabbing of the spear did not hit you. Grimtuck, the other crayfish, the final other crayfish, which had popped back into existence, now rushes over towards you and tries to chomp at you for 2 with a natural 1. Okay. We're gonna do high. That's not. In its kind of just momentary unknown of where it has been and what it has done, even though its intelligence is exceptionally low, it rushes towards you and kind of crashes into the brazier, knocking it over. Coals go spraying across the ground and leaving it prone on the ground in front of you,
Nice.
losing its other attack.
That's awesome.
I will say... No, the second toad did not get hit by the coals. Elduin, it's your turn. You see this...
I'm maintaining my concentration.
Excellent. You see this clusterfuck of things going on right now. There's a crayfish attacking Grimtuck. There's a crayfish attacking Metolius. There are 2 toads attacking Rain.
I don't even know if you can see that all that because.
Go to the doorway.
Oh, I guess that's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
There's
there's
a
a guy
big- yeah.
outside clutching the.
There's a
Yeah.
guy outside clutching next to Loud Scout. I guess
he didn't move up.
he didn't
to
move
it.
up. In front of Loud Scout's earthen fist.
Just hanging out for a bit.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about Gem Guy doing some shit, so
Okay.
I'm gonna fire an arrow at him.
Okay.
That, yes, please.
That's legit.
I like this.
Legit as fuck.
15 to hit.
15 hits.
Alright.
Right in the wug wug.
Sweet.
Alright.
Use that him to fail.
But I can't roll max damage for 12.
Word.
And then I'll fire my second arrow.
First arrow does 12 points of damage as it connects into his shoulder, and you see him kind of hunch over in pain.
14.
14 does not hit. That arrow flies wide.
Is there another enemy
Next to him?
nearby?
No. Near him?
Yeah.
No.
It's.
He's alone.
There's a range here. 60 feet. Is there any within 60 feet?
Yes, but it would be within the tent, would be the closest enemy that you can see.
So I can redirect my shots. My wayward shots.
Okay. Well, that's some Calvin Ball worth of a thing, but sure, let's go for it. Why
So
not?
within 60 feet. So
I'll say you can hit one of the toads. That would be
sure.
yeah.
I'm gonna read my shot is going to start arcing. It's going to do the like Patriot arrow from Robin Hood Tights and just like
Yeah.
I'm
I figure
just
it breaks halfway through, like you hear like the Looney Tunes, and then just like flies out. Go for it. Okay, Toad.
Alright.
Did we
Ooh,
level?
that's a 14 as well. But I'm
Cool.
14?
14 hits.
Alright.
Nice.
Really liked rolling 14s. 11 points of damage. 11 points
Word.
of
Still standing.
piercing.
Randomly, so the three people inside just see an arrow fly through the canvas straight into one of the toads. Out of nowhere. Okay, continue. Anything else?
Yes. I'm done.
Your 2 shots?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You're not gonna move or...
You got a good
I
spot
can see
there.
everything. I'm just feel the fire, everything, but I already burned my action surge.
Alright.
Okay. Metolius, your turn.
I'm flanking with Grimtug, correct?
You are
Yeah,
flanking
and
with
you're
your attack.
grappled.
And you are grappled. But those two are not counterproductive, spread.
Well, I would have a disadvantage for being grappled, right? So if we get out...
No, you wouldn't have disadvantage on attacks.
No?
Mm-mm. You just would. It'd fuck up your movement.
Can't benefit from any bonus on its speed. It doesn't say anything about...
Believe me, I know. I grapple people
Alright, well, I am gonna...
I grapple people all day, every day.
all day, every day. They can
attack
hit you
this
just fine.
thing.
But you do have advantage for me flanking him.
Yep. I rolled 2 12s. So, 19.
19 hits.
This thing has been hurt before, correct?
Yes. This is the one that had not been until
Alright,
Grimtug's axe met its ass.
kind of fucking sick of this shit. So,
These motherfucking crayfish in this motherfucking tent.
I'm gonna smite him.
Yay.
So, this will be my slashing damage. So 8 magical slashing damage
Okay.
and 9 radiant damage.
Okay.
So 17.
You crash your sword into it, and the spark of your radiant being explodes at this crayfish. It does not fall, but you see pieces of its shell fly.
And this one has no rider or the grievously injured rider?
It is the only bullywug left in the tent, and it is a
Oh,
grievously
I'm
injured
attacking the
bullywug.
crap out of that guy.
Sure.
It's my second attack. Natural 20.
Oh, snap.
Would you like to roll to confirm that 20? No, I'm joking.
Should be the perfect time to pop a Divine Smite, but it seems unnecessary. So
Yeah, it's
I mean,
kind of overkill.
8 plus 7, so another 15 points of damage.
so you stab into his mount, and in that vein, you've burned enough of its carapace to raise up your sword straight out and into the chin of the rider above, and you catch it on the chin and slash straight through its face.
Nice.
Down and
Up,
I
and just
see.
flick your wrist, removing the lower jaw of the creature upon it, and removing the life from that bullywug.
Awesome.
So he killed both of them?
No, he just killed the rider.
crayfish is just really hurt. It looks
Okay.
like.
Yes, the crayfish is really hurt. The rider is dead. There are no more bullywugs in the tent.
Just
I
two frogs and a
cry out.
crayfish.
Yes.
Where did the fat one go? Why did you run in here like a crazy person? And that is the end of my turn.
Okay. That means it is our friend the bulbous bullywug's turn. He turns to you, Loud Scout. And as he does only one thing. As he turns towards you,
You turned to the guy who shot him in the shoulder.
I think he's been ran down by Loud Scout the whole time. He
Probably
kind of
just
just turns his back to the lake. Let's say that. And you see him cast something. And he touches his chest, and you see him reach into a small pouch and pull out what looks like wood chips. And then he touches it to his chest and says a word, and his skin goes to this almost bark-like quality. And as he does that, he begins to laugh. And as his laugh, low and rumbling, echoes out, you see, and Elduin, you see this too, an odd snake-like thing rises from behind him and lands upon the edge, and then a second rises up, and then a third, a fourth, and first just a small stalk comes up from behind him, eyes upon it, wildly looking about, and this gigantic maud creature pulls itself out from this crater and now stands, arms flailing, gigantic mouth open wide and ready to feast behind his master, ready to enter the fray. And I think that's where we're gonna leave this, and see you guys on the next Swordcast adventure.
There's a big monster.
Hey guys, it's Dix again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. There's officially some crazy shit going on. Also going on, we're going to be at Rose City Comic Con next weekend, September 7th, 8th, and 9th. We're going to have a booth on the main exhibit floor, booth 1124, so you guys can come by, check us out. We're going to be selling some cool merch. We're also going to be hanging out, answering anybody's questions, and talking to anybody that happens to come by. If you're not in the area and aren't able to make it to come hang out with us, you can always check us out at www.swordcastadventures.com, where we also put up a bunch of cool extra stuff for you guys, where we have maps and different photos and things like that. Also character stats, where you can get some more behind the scenes information about everybody's characters. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Swordcast. You can also follow myself at @LoudScout. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at /theswordcast. We also have our Tumblr page, the swordcastadventures.tumblr.com. And then last but not least, our Patreon page, where you guys can donate a little bit of money every month, and that helps us go to things like buying new equipment and allowing us to keep making this awesome program that we love to do for you guys so much. Yeah, I think that's it for now, so you guys will hear from us soon.